Well, if you're a lip reader, you've got the idea anyway, if you can read signals. Penn State won the toss, and they chose the option at the start of the second half. So the Maryland Terrapins then get the option, and the Terrapins will receive. Penn State, of course, kicking off. There is a wind today. Again, it's swirling around the stadium, but the field is sunk below ground level, so how much the wind will be a factor remains to be seen. It is coming at about 12 miles per hour left to right. There are your officials for today's game. Donald Safford, the referee, the umpire. Rosario Amato, linesman. Richard Tyndall, line judge. Edwin Jackson. Jerry McGee is the side judge. Field judge is R. Williamson, and Ronald Huggins is the back judge. So I guess, George, Joe Paterno wanted the wind more than anything else in the first quarter.
That plus, I think he knows to win the game, he has to establish some kind of a defense against this Maryland's offense, and he wants to get right to it.
You know, we get so excited about opening day in Major League Baseball and all the sports, and I'm wondering, as a former head coach yourself, what's it like for the head coach on opening day? Is it different than the other games in the season?
Well, he has the same butterflies, but as you get older and with more experience, you just have a little bit more control of it. Both coaches really, in some ways, are on the spot today. Maryland, with their preseason tremendously high rating, puts Coach Ross on the spot. Joe Paterno wants to come back off a bad end of the season last year, reestablish Penn State as one of the top teams in the country.
Today, Joe Paterno begins his 20th year as the head coach at Penn State. His record over those 20 years, 176 wins, 43 losses, and 2 ties. Bobby Ross is in his 4th year at Maryland. His record 25-11. They have won 7 games in a row. They have been to 3 consecutive bowl appearances under Bobby Ross. Now, a year ago, Penn State beat Maryland 25-24 at State College on October the 6th. That was the 20th consecutive win for Penn State over Maryland. The series record, Penn State 27 wins, only 1 defeat. That 1 defeat came in 1961. You'll remember the quarterback who engineered that then Maryland upset, Dick Shiner, who went on to play in the National Football League. That has been the talk in the D.C., Baltimore area all week long about the losing streak. There have been games which Maryland felt perhaps they could have won last year's among them. Massimo Manca will be kicking off for Penn State. Again, he will have a wind at his back slight. It is swirling around. Keita Covington, who is a starting defensive back, #1, is the deep man in the triple safety. The 1985 college football season all set to get underway. We're glad you joined us on TCS for Eastern College Football. What a game we've got for you now. 2 teams ranked in the top 20. Some people feel Maryland a legitimate contender for a national championship. In about 3 hours, we'll find out how legitimate contender they actually are. Speaking once again about the temperature, George, players are going to be perspiring freely, and I think that we may see a fumbled kickoff, a fumbled punt, and fumbled snaps.
When you talk about the heat, you have to remember heat and humidity. You get a tremendous amount of perspiration on the hands, and the receivers and the backs, anybody touching that ball has to be conscious of really controlling it, or you will have quite a few turnovers.
Keita Covington, one of the leading kick returners in the ACC. He's a junior from Danville, Virginia. His brother, his older brother, Al Covington, is a starting safety. Keita Covington is the starting left corner and will return the kicks for Maryland. There is Massimo Manca, and there is Covington, the 2 principals at this moment. Sellout crowd at Byrd Stadium. It's been a sellout for months. As a matter of fact, they are showing the game closed circuit at Cole Fieldhouse. You basketball fans are familiar where Lefty Drizel holds court. We are set to go. What a game to open up the season with. Penn State and Maryland. Covington at the 6. It gets out to the 26-yard line. So a 20-yard kickoff return for Keita Covington. Larry Wilkerson, a freshman defensive back who can fly, made the tackle for Maryland. Stan Gelbaugh, the quarterback. Alvin Blunt, the tailback. Rick Bodonik, the fullback. The wideouts, Azizuddin Abdur-Rauf, and Eric Holton, the tight end, Farrell Edmonds, and he's very good. Offensive line, Tony Edwards, Len Lynch, Dave Amon, Jeff Holinka, and J.D. Marlaveld, who comes in at 3 100 pounds, and that is a strength for Maryland. Their offensive line, they average 271 pounds. First down, 10 yards to go out of the pro set. Blunt. Hole at left tackle. He gets out to near the 29-yard line. Mike Russo, the nose guard. Lance Hamilton made the tackle for Penn State. Here's the Penn State defense. Bob White, Mike Russo, Tim Johnson, Shane Conlon. The front four, Trey Bauer, Rogers Alexander, Don Graham, the linebackers. Duffy Cobbs, Lance Hamilton, the corners. Ray Ison, the safety. And Michael Zordich is the hero. Sean Sullivan comes in as a wideout, number 89. He's lined in a slot to the right on second down and 7. Gelbaugh, and it is intercepted. Mike Zordich. Zordich. Touchdown, Penn State. Michael Zordich intercepts and returns for the touchdown.
Stan, that time, that was just a bad play by Gelbaugh. They had 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field, Sullivan and Abdur Rauf. Now, Gelbaugh does not see Zordich step in front. He made a great adjustment on the ball to catch it and intercept it. And with his real good foot speed for a strong safety, takes it in for the touchdown. Great break for Penn State early in the game.
Michael Zordich, the senior and captain from Youngstown, Ohio. Massimo Manca will attempt the extra point. Matt Kisner to hold. Kick is up, and the kick is good. What a beginning. We've played just 50 seconds of the football game. Michael Zordich makes the big play. 14-10 to play in the first quarter. We've got a timeout. Penn State 7, Maryland nothing. We'll be right back after this.
Okay, let's juice it up, you guys. Put more fruit on line 3. I see you've been into the local juice, chubby. A little heavy on that vitamin C, aren't you, Sonny? Keep those fudge freezer pops coming. You're a real cut-apart. Okay, everybody, take a daily break. How about that? There's a Dailies treat for everyone.
And now, Pennsylvania Lotto. Dump the balls and mix them clean. Draw the first number.
The real excitement of playing Pennsylvania Lotto is more than just choosing 6 numbers from 1 to 40. And it's more than just watching the jackpot grow. The really exciting part is watching the live lotto drawing and knowing you could win.
Draw the 6th number, please.
The Pennsylvania Lottery's Pennsylvania Lotto game. With hundreds, thousands, even millions of dollars in prizes. It could happen to you.
You that the broadcast cablecast rights to this game are granted by the University of Maryland and Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions to TCS. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without written consent is prohibited. The announcers on the telecast have been hired and paid for by TCS in consultation with Penn State University. George, I've got to believe that's a play that Penn State scouted. They are familiar with it, and they thought that perhaps on that second down and long, they anticipated the play.
Well, they put 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field, and then with Sullivan in the slot. He was going to go, he was running a quick out, trying to get the first down. Now, what happened there, it shows what happens when you change your defenses. Zordich lined up near the line of scrimmage as if he was going to play the run. At the last minute, dropped off to play the slot man. Gelbaugh made a mistake, didn't see Zordich, threw the ball out there. Mike stepped in, made a fine interception and took it in for the touchdown. Here it is. Now, Mike Zordich shows a lot more foot speed than I thought he had for strong safety. Almost got run down. Now, what that has done for Penn State, aside from getting the points, and we know that Maryland comes back, it's a tremendous lift for their defense.
Oh, unquestionably. You know, another thing about the defense, by the way, that's a 32-yard interception return by Michael Zordich. As we introduce the defense, and we'll show them again, we have them listed as a 4-4. That is really a matter of semantics, and we'll get into that, exactly what kind of defense Penn State is playing. Well, Covington's getting a lot of practice. This kick comes down at the 3. Good defensive play on the special teams by Trey Bauer. They'll make it Barry Bookman, number 26, who came down. Covington does not get back to the 20-yard line. He gets out to the 15, and so Maryland will start out in 4 field position.
So far, a great day for Penn State heroes. Buckman is the substitute for Zordich, so both players in that position have made a contribution already.
Well, Maryland, as you know, is a great from-behind team. Anyone who remembers last year's Miami of Florida game. Badonic, just 2, out to the 17-yard line. Tim Johnson, playing a right defensive end, made the tackle on the senior Badonic, the fullback. Now, what about the alignment here, George? I guess officially it's kind of a standard pro 3-4 defense.
It is basically a 3-4 defense because they usually have a man on the nose guard. And what they do with the weak side tackle sometime, which will be Bobby White, they flip-flop their defense. He'll be in a standing position with a linebacker outside him, and it gives him a lot more gaming ability.
2nd down and 8 for the Terrapins at their own 17. Play fake. Conlon blitzes, and the pass will get on the flat to Badonic. 1st down and more. He's finally run out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Little flat pass out to Rick Badonic, the fullback, and it's a big gain for Maryland. 17 yards and a 1st down.
There's a little fake count and a blount, and they sneak the fullback in a flat. Now, Penn State decided to come with the blitz from Conlon from the outside. Nobody there to pick up Badonic. You better not let him get a full head of steam up.
I'm wondering if that was a blitz control route. When Badonic saw the blitz coming, he just sneaks out in the flat.
Gelbaugh did a great job getting the ball off. Conlon was right in his face.
Gelbaugh now 1 out of 2 for big yardage on both plays. 1st down and 10, Maryland. Badonic finds a hole. He's got good yardage out to the 44-yard line, and very near another Maryland 1st down. Shane Conlon, senior from Frewsburg, New York, finally brought him down, but the gain is about 9. A bit more than that. It'll be 2nd down and short.
Well, you see, Roger Alexander just kind of overruns the play. Now, Ray Isom, 22 to safety. He should have filled to the inside. He was a little careless, got too much to the outside. Badonic made a nice cut.
2nd down and very short yardage, so it's a play. Penn State must be careful. Edmonds, the tight end, comes to the other side. Gelbaugh, a lot of time. Over the middle, incomplete. Pass is intended for Azizudin Abdur Raouf, number 87, but obviously way too tall. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and just a few inches for a 1st down.
We referred to at the top of the show about perspiration on the people's hands. Now watch Gelbaugh here. He has Raouf open. Now it seems to me that the ball just gets away from him. And this could be from the excessive humidity, which causes a lot of perspiration on the hands. That ball just took off. It wasn't near the receiver.
All right, Penn State now lines up in a short yardage defense. 5 men across the front. 3rd down and inches. Badonic has the 1st down easily. Rogers Alexander met him across the 45. Ray Isom cleaned up on the tackle, but the gain is 2, and it gives Maryland a 1st down, their 2nd 1st down of the ball game.
Stan, Badonic is probably the best short yardage runner in the country. When you need a yard or 2 yards, he's tough. He's awfully tough.
He's only 5'9", but he weighs 217 pounds. He is a senior from West Farmington, Ohio. And he has performed exceptionally well against Penn State over the years. Now we're going to have a referee's timeout. Trey Bauer down on the play, number 35. Bauer, a junior from Paramus, New Jersey, 6'1", 212 pounds. He and Bob Onko are rated even. One of the inside linebackers. Both will play a great deal today. Both will play a great deal throughout the season. George, what about the defense now that Penn State's lining up in?
Well, as I said, they're lining up what the pros are calling a 3-4 with a man on the nose guard. But what they do a little differently, they take their weak side tackle, which is Bob White, who's a former defensive end, and they do different things with him. He'll be in a 2-point stance or a 3-point stance relative to what the defense is. It gives them the ability to do a lot more stunning, because sometimes, you know, they go and they bring Zordich up, who's a strong safety, but also an outside linebacker. They got 5 linebackers in there. Now, I think what they're trying to do, they're feeling each other out. Maryland is going back to what they like to do best. They like to come at you, powder the ball, and what they do awfully well as any team in the country, and a lot like Iowa, they'll set you up. They'll even waste the play to set you up. They'll pound 1 or 2 plays in the same area. Somebody's checking the secondary. Then they'll come out with some kind of a boot action, trying to get one-on-one on a receiver on a defensive back, and then go for the long one. And they do it very well.
A year ago against Penn State, Maryland threw 48 times. Gelbaugh completing 22 of those for 1 touchdown. Bob Ontko, junior from, or sophomore, Number 93 replaces Trey Bauer. 1st and 10, Maryland, their own 46. This is Blunt, the tailback. Drives forward to near the 50-yard line. Shane Conlon made the initial hit. Bob White cleaning up on the tackle. There's Trey Bauer. He may have been fallen victim to the heat this early on. He would get his second win. The gain for Blunt is 3 yards. They will use 2 tailbacks. Blunt, number 33, is a junior out of Greenbelt, Maryland, and number 48, Tommy Neal. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Receiver split either side. Now a pro set. Madonna trying to get outside. He will not get there. Good run support by Lance Hamilton. That's textbook for a corner to come up on run support.
You called it, Stan. You can't play it any better. The Yen strung it out, Graham strung it out, and then Hamilton came up and really finished him off. You cannot let Bogdanik turn upfield. Now, when he's running sideways, sideline to sideline, you got a good shot at taking him down. When he squares away, he's like a little bowling ball coming at you with a low center of gravity. He's awfully difficult to tackle.
A good play by Donnie Graham, who fought off the block and forced the play outside. The gain is 2. It is 3rd down and 5. Again, Maryland lines up in that slot right. Gelbaugh throwing sideline, and it is caught for a 1st down at the 32-yard line. The pass complete to Abdur Rauf, and it's a 1st down completion for Gelbaugh into Penn State territory at the 32.
Well, as we just said, see, they just set it up. Now they fake. He comes out on a boot action. It's contained very well, but he has Rauf on a nice pattern. An out pattern. He wanted the 1st down, and that was a fine throw.
Shane Conlon, number 31, almost was able to get a hand on it. You saw him leaping through the air. But it was not to be, and Maryland picks up the 1st down. Their 3rd of the game. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Motion holder to the near side. Blunt driving hard inside the 30 and down to the 28-yard line. We'll give him a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Pete Kirkendall and Chris Collins made the tackle for Penn State. So Penn State, again, substituting freely on defense.
As I was going to say that, Stan, they've already started to substitute their down people.
Matter of fact, Ayatoa Polamalu is in at nose tackle. Now, you'll remember him as Al Pola, and he changed it back to his Samoan name, his full Samoan name. 2nd down and 5. Blunt. Stutter stepping, trying to get outside. He's hit hard near the 25-yard line. Bob Ontko and Rogers Alexander make the tackle for Penn State. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short for Maryland, just inside the 24-yard line. 3rd down and around 2.5.
Well, Maryland's starting to show a little bit of a pattern. When they put the two receivers to the wide side of the field, run the ball, they run it to the tight end. They run over Marlavelle and that big tight end, Edmonds.
9:20 to play in the 1st quarter. In case you joined us late, Penn State leads 7-0 on an interception and return for a touchdown by Michael Zordich. 3rd down and 2. Bogdanik. He's got the 1st down to the 21-yard line. Again, Bogdanik is not fancy. He merely gets the job done. And so Maryland doing a great job. They started this drive at their own 15-yard line. They have it at the 21-yard line.
Stan, nothing fancy in the blocking schemes. This is just a wedge. You see the whole left side of the line wedges together, and Bogdanik follows the wedge, finds the crease, and with his power, he's tough to stop.
Bogdanik, 18 yards on 5 carries. Flat pass to Bogdanik. Good job coming up to make the tackle, Michael Zordich. On the play will gain a couple of yards, but had Zordich not been able to make that open field tackle, Bogdanik may have been in for the touchdown.
Well, it was a fullback screen. They swung Bogdanik out of the backfield with 2 linemen in front of him, hoping to get him facing upfield where he could use his power. Zordich came up and made an ankle tackle. Beautiful play.
That's one of the things that Zordich has improved on. A year ago, he was always trying to make tremendously hard hits in the open field. But this year, you've got to make the open field tackle. And now we've got a time on the field. Lance Hamilton is going to come out of there.
You know, that's a tough thing to teach people in the secondary. You know, you want to play a hard game and hit hard, but the objective of their play is to stop the ball carrier any way you can. It doesn't make any difference how hard you hit him. And when you get a good ball carrier in open field, if you try to hit him too hard, sometimes you miss him altogether, and he makes a big gain out of it. Number 39,
Eddie Johnson, a freshman, comes in to replace Lance Hamilton. Here we go. Second down. 7 yards to go. Maryland at the Penn State 18-yard line. Second down and 7. Now, I think there was some confusion as to whether an official timeout was charged. Now, had Hamilton stayed in the game, there would have been a timeout. Now we are going to have a timeout, and it will be charged to Maryland.
Well, because, Stan, the clock had run down to 4 seconds, and they didn't know what they were going to do.
Well, neither did the officials, actually. 7:59 to play in the first quarter. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 7 and Maryland nothing. We'll be back right after this. Penn State 7-0. The Terps on a long drive of 12 plays. 2nd and 7. Gelbaugh intercepted. Pete Giftopoulos, the sophomore linebacker, still on his feet, and finally run out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Well, Stan, they just put Giftopoulos in there. He's previously a tight end, and he was in the perfect spot once against Gelbaugh. Watch Gelbaugh here. He makes a bad throw. He fakes the Bodonic. Giftopoulos coming across from his inside linebacker position. He steps right in front. Another good break for Penn State, and he runs pretty well with the ball. He's 243 pounds.
He's from Hamilton, Ontario. Played a little tight end last year.
You see the drop here, coming across from his inside linebacker spot.
Well, a big break for Penn State. They start out their own 36-yard line. This is their first snap from scrimmage. Dozier in motion. This is Steve Smith. Finds a hole up the middle, gets out to the 40, 41-yard line. Steve Smith, the fullback from Clinton, Maryland, not too far from here. It's a 5-yard game. Bruce Messner made the tackle. Here's Penn State starting offense. John Schaefer, quarterback. Dozier and Smith, the running backs. Eric Hamilton and Ray Roundtree, the wide receivers. Dean DeMidio is the tight end. Offensive line, Mark Sickler, Mitch Farrat, Rob Smith, Todd Moles, and Chris Conlon at tackle. 2nd down and 5 yards to go. This time they line up in an I. Smith again, not much doing. Gets out to the 43. That'll bring up a 3rd down and long 3. Richie Pettibone made the tackle for Maryland. If the name sounds familiar, it should be Richie Pettibone, defensive coach of the Washington Redskins. You'll remember him playing years and years ago for the Chicago Bears. Shankweiler, Ted Chapman, Bruce Messner, Neil Sampson, Scott Ty, Steve Kelly. That's the front 6. They play a wide tackle 6. You see the linebackers. 3rd down, short yardage. And the pass complete out on the flat, and it is good for a Penn State first down at the 48-yard line. Throwing out to Steve Smith, the fullback. Chuck Fawcett and Keita Covington make the tackle on Steve Smith for the first down.
This is a great play for young John Schaefer. First 3rd down situation. He throws a perfect pass to Smith coming out of the backfield, just enough underneath to get that first down.
Wide to the right is Mike Alexander. He's new. He's a junior college transfer. He's from Piscataway, New Jersey. He's number 9, wide to the right side. First down, 10. Schaefer will go back to throw again. Looking for Alexander, and it is incomplete. Interference. Interference will be called on Keita Covington. He was all over the back of wideout Mike Alexander, the junior from Piscataway, 6'2", 189.
No question about it, Stan. If you're going to draw up an example of what interference is, that's it here. He tackles him before the ball even gets close to the receiver.
The replay shows conclusively that it was interference, and so it gives Penn State on the penalty of first down.
More important, the ball was there, and Schaefer so far has been on target for the first 2 passes.
Now you remember that the change in college football came a year ago in pass interference.
Defensive pass interference. First down.
It's a 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage, no longer an automatic first down from the spot of the foul.
And they passed on first down, which was encouraging. They came right back to the pass after getting the first down with Smith, and they got a big play out.
1st and 10 from the Maryland 37. That is Michael Timpson, the freshman, in motion. Dozier. Halfback pass. Timpson's wide open. Incomplete, just off Timpson's fingertips. DJ Dozier and Michael Timpson almost able to hook up on the halfback pass, just inches long.
They call it a game of inches. I tell you, it wasn't a bad pass, and maybe Timpson turned around a little too soon looking for the ball. DJ does a fine job of faking the run, gets it high enough This is what you want. You want a man like with Timpson's speed to run under it just off his fingertips.
Boy, that was close. 2nd down and 10. Well, the Penn State guns are blazing. They line up in a slot to the right with Roundtree. That is Eric Hamilton, motion far side. Dozier, wing left. Draw play to Smith. Got open field. 30. 20. And down to the 17-yard line, Steve Smith. Keita Covington made the touchdown-saving tackle. The big fullback from Clinton, Maryland, a senior at 6'1", 226 pounds.
Well, Stan, not only was an excellent call from their spread formation, a great trap block by Farad or Moles. I couldn't see the number. It was a beautiful draw play. It was Todd Moles back to his guard position that sprung Smith up the middle. Good seal block by Rob Smith, and as George points out, Todd Moles with the great trap block. 1st and 10, Penn State. Schaefer is sacked. They caught him on an outside blitz. Scott Shankweiler, the outside linebacker, made the tackle. Now, we talk about a wide tackle 6 and 6 people up front, but really, George, the guys on the end like Shankweiler are outside linebackers. Yes, they list them as ends, but they're outside linebackers. They play with 4 tackles. They cover your guards and tackles. And those 2 outside people are linebackers. Now, that time, Maryland guessed right. Penn State, but the important thing about Penn State, they're not afraid to pass on 1st down. Shankweiler is a senior from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. 2nd down, 16. Dozier, Roundtree, he's got it at the 11-yard line. Ray Roundtree, the sophomore from South Carolina, gets down to the 11-yard line. That'll still make it 3rd down and 4, but a nice little out pattern there. Oh, it was a beautiful adjustment by Roundtree to turn around, catch the ball, and keep his feet in the boundary line. Beautiful play by the receiver Roundtree. Raymond Roundtree, first catch of the game, his 2nd catch of his career. He was redshirted last year. Mike Alexander comes into the game, as does Timpson. It is 3rd down and 4. Dozier is yet to carry the ball. Penn State coming out throwing. Schaefer now 2 for 2. And a big play here, 3rd and 4 from the 11. Schaefer, end zone. Almost a touchdown, knocked away at the last minute. Timpson had his hands on the ball, but a good stick by Al Covington knocked it loose, and that'll bring on the field goal unit and Massimo Manca. So Penn State coming very close to a touchdown pass. Not only that, Stan, they double covered Timpson. Maryland guessed right again. They knew Penn State was going to go there. You see the double coverage on him, but he almost made a super catch. He had it, but Al Covington knocked it away. So Massimo Manca, who last year was 5 out of 10 field goal attempts. You'll remember, of course, Nick Gancitano did most of the kicking. That's Matt Kisner to hold. 28-yarder. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So Massimo Manca, the 28-yard field goal, Penn State, following the interception by Giftopoulos, ups their lead to 10-0. 4:29 to play in the 1st quarter. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 10, Maryland nothing. And we'll be back right after this. 4:29 to play in the 1st quarter. Penn State leading 10-0. And already, George, we have seen the effect of the substitutions. Once again, a fresh linebacker, and possibly Joe Paterno won the 1st round of substitution. He substituted a whole new defensive line of linebackers. Maryland kept their offensive unit in. A fresh Giftopoulos dropping back quickly, makes the interception, and gave Penn State an opportunity to make another 3 points. After that interception by Giftopoulos, on which he returned to the 36-yard line, Penn State moved 53 yards. 5 passes, 3 runs, a little over 3 minutes, and it concluded in Manca's 28-yard field goal, giving Penn State a 10-0 lead. And again, Maryland has really not substituted a great deal offensively. That was the first and only Penn State drive of the ball game. Keita Covington returns at his 5-yard line. Manca, good kick. Covington, 5 yards deep. He'll stay there. Well, Maryland has shown an ability to move the ball on that last drive, George. Of course, Gelbaugh made the critical mistake, and he has now thrown 2 interceptions. Well, that looked like a little bit like the old Penn State defense. They keep the ball in front of you. They'll give you a little bit, but they don't bend. And they were there for the interceptions. That's 2 interceptions in 1 quarter for a quarterback. You know, that's not a very good start. You can see Maryland's offense very, very potent. And they can come back, averaging 446 yards total offense a year ago.
Scriber, backup fullback, cuts upfield and gets 3 to the 23-yard line. Stefan Scriber. Mike Russo, the nose tackle, made the tackle for Penn State. Mike now, a junior out of Mahopac, New York.
Once again, Penn State has resubstituted, brought the first unit in, and Maryland is still going with their first offensive line. Edwards,
Lynch, Amon, Polinka, and Marlavelle. They are big people, especially Marlavelle, who's about 300 pounds. Padana getting a rest. 2nd down and 7, Maryland. Scriber again. Drives forward and out to the 28-yard line. Be a gain of 5 for Scriber. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2 as Tim Johnson and Mike Russo make the tackle. 3:40 to play in the first quarter.
Now, this is strictly power football. You see the center and guard double team the nose guard, Russo. The linebacker, Trey Bauer, has to be a little bit more quicker on his fill to stop that play.
Now, one thing that Penn State feels is their linebackers are quicker than Maryland's running back, so getting to the outside may be difficult for Maryland. Scriber, near the first down, he got it. Just across the 30-yard line. He took an initial hit from Mike Russo, but kept his feet, and Trey Bauer cleaned up. But Scriber, who's a pretty big size fellow at 6'3", 225, kept on driving for the first down.
Well, they offset Russo to the side, and then Russo and Bauer both came, and they almost stopped. Have to do a little bit more of that.
Maryland, 5 first down. Barry Bookman comes into the game, replacing Michael Zordich as the hero back. He is number 26. Made a key tackle on a kickoff return earlier in the game. It's Edmonds, the tight end, who broke in motion. The pass on the flat and is complete. Out to the 47-yard line. The pass complete to James Milling, wide receiver, tackled by Ray Isom, number 22. But the gain is about 16 yards.
Okay, this single coverage out there. Penn State's in a zone defense. It's a first down play. It's just a little turnaround. It's a good throw and a good route by the receiver, Milling.
Gelbaugh has now completed 4 out of 7, 53 yards, but he has been intercepted twice, 1 for a touchdown. Eric Holder motion near side. Scriber, good running room, big hole. He gets into Penn State territory at the Nittany Lion 47-yard line before, again, Mike Russo made the tackle with help from Tim Johnson.
Now, they're running everything inside the tackles so far, Stan, because like as you said, Penn State has pretty quick outside linebackers. I would look for Penn State to start taking the tackles, Wade and who's ever in there, to pinch them to the inside of their offensive tackles to take away that hole.
There's something to watch. Got young cornerbacks, Dwayne Downing, Eddie Johnson are the cornerbacks, one a freshman, one a sophomore. Hand off, and again Scriber with big running room down to the 41-yard line. That'll be a Maryland first down. Russo again made the tackle, but he made it about 6 yards downfield. Maryland, their 6th first down.
Now, you see, this is just powerhouse football. There's nobody there. The linebacker did not fill quick enough to stop the play. They're going to have to start pinching to the inside and take away that inside running game.
First down 10 at the Penn State 41. It's a very big, powerful offensive line for the Terrapins. Gelbaugh, the flat, it is almost intercepted, knocked away by Shane Conlon. Gelbaugh really had no business throwing that ball, because had Conlon had his face to the quarterback, he might have been able to pick it off.
Well, Gelbaugh right now is being inconsistent. He makes a couple good plays. Now, Penn State read this very, very well. They dropped off, and Conlon was right out there almost intercepted, and he would have gone all the way.
The impressive part of that play by Conlon is the mental aspect. He read screen and started to drop back. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Maryland. Gelbaugh 4 out of 8, 53 yards. 2nd and 10. Tommy Neal trying to get outside. No, sir. He's met hard at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for a couple. Shane Conlon playing a pretty strong football game here in the first quarter. Picks up a couple, bring up 3rd down, long yardage, and we are under 1 minute to play in the first quarter. There you see Shane Conlon from Frewsburg, New York.
Made a great play. They ran a little counter, and they gave the ball. They went wide this time because Penn State did try to take away that inside running game.
Penn State now with 4 defensive backs on an obvious passing down. Maryland is 4 out of 4 on 3rd down conversion. 3rd down and 8. Blitz. Gelbaugh gets it away, and he really unloads it more than anything else. It'll be incomplete. The Maryland fans want pass interference called on Bob Ontko, who was over there covering Tommy Neal, but they will not get the call. Matt Johnson and Donnie Graham came on the blitz, and it'll bring up 4th down and 8 yards to go, out of field goal range. And that'll bring on the Maryland punter, Darrell Wright, a sophomore.
Stan, that was an uncatchable ball also.
Right.
The ball was nowhere near the receiver.
Jim Coates will go back. He'll be the single safety, but obviously Wright is going to attempt to kick the ball out of bounds. So Penn State successfully stops the Maryland drive. The coach signals fair catch. Maryland tries to down it. And will they get away with it? No, it'll be a touchback. The official signals that they touch the ball in the end zone, and so there'll be a touchback. And we've got a flag on the player. That may just be the marker, but let's wait and see. He may be calling an illegal bat on Maryland, trying to bat the ball back in. Got 26 seconds to play in the first quarter. Here's the call from the official. Well, for those of you who have a closed caption for the hearing impaired television, you're all set. It is an illegal bat. We've got 26 seconds to play in the first quarter.
One of those fouls where there's no penalty.
Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the TCS Sports Television Network. I want to invite you to join us for our next telecast of Eastern College football on Saturday, September 14th, 1 week from today at 12 noon Eastern time, when the Penn State Nittany Lions meet the Temple Owls on the TCS Sports Television Network. That game at Beaver Stadium in University Park, the home opener. And George will hope it's about 30 degrees may be too much to ask for, but 20 degrees cooler anyway.
Anything would be better than this.
I'll tell you, in late October, early November, we'll be remembering today and wanting somewhat of a compromise. The Nittany Lions coming out. Ray Roundtree, Michael Timpson are the wide receivers. Schaefer remains at quarterback. Schaefer to pass on 1st down. And he's looking deep for Timpson. Timpson makes a great catch at the 30-yard line. Oh, what a catch by Michael Timpson, the freshman from Miami.
Well, that sure makes up for the other one. That was a great throw, though. A great throw.
50 yards. And you're right. A great throw by John Schaefer. What's that got to do for his confidence?
Stan, they had good coverage on him. You had to put the ball way out there to allow Timpson to use his speed and on his outside shoulder for him to make the reception because the coverage was so close. It's the perfect throw and a super catch.
Timpson, the freshman from Miami, you've heard a great deal about him. Eric Hamilton motion, and that is going to be the end of the first quarter before Penn State can get off the play. So a freshman impact right then and there. That is the end of the first quarter. The score, Penn State 10, Maryland nothing. We'll be back right after this. Begin the second quarter of play. Penn State leading Maryland 10-0, and the Nittany Lions with the ball in the Maryland 30. 1st down and 10. Schaefer now, 3 out of 4, 68 yards. We have a new backfield. David Clark, number 48. Tim Manoa, number 44. Schaefer, left sideline, and incomplete. Juggling the balls, he went out of bounds, was Mike Alexander near the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go. There is the total yardage in the first quarter. Maryland has the advantage. It's 50 of Penn State, 68 passing yards coming on the play to Michael Timpson, the last play of the first quarter. As you can see, Maryland very well balanced. What has hurt them, of course, the 2 interceptions that Gelbaugh has thrown. 2nd down and 10. Dozier back in the ball game paired with Manoa. Dozier has yet to carry the ball. This is his first carry. 25 and down to the 23-yard line. Dozier making a nice cut on the counter play. Gets 7 on his first carry of the game. Chuck Fawcett and Al Covington make the tackle for Maryland.
And he got a fine block by Conlon, number 57, the tackle. He pulled out and hit the corner, enabling DJ to cut up inside.
It'll be 3rd down and 3. Penn State 1 out of 2 on 3rd down conversion. Well, Penn State has passed the ball very successfully, and on a 3rd and 4, George, they passed. They may do it here.
Maryland has made some substitutes on defense.
Dozier moves to a wing. Schaefer out in the flat. It is caught by Dozier, but I don't think he got to the 1st down marker. He'll be about a half-yard shy. They ran that into the boundary, and Dozier really didn't have much room to maneuver.
Well, they did.
4th down at about 2 feet.
That's by design. They just wanted to flick it out there to get that 1st down, hoping that the linebacker wouldn't get over there that quickly. But it's the first big decision for Joe. I'm sure he's going to go for it.
He is going for it. Tim Manoa comes into the ball game. He is the best blocking back that Penn State has. Dozier also in the ball game. You're going to probably see a power eye here because Smith, Manoa, and Dozier are in the game. You got a double tight end, and Schaefer's going to call a timeout. Wasn't sure of the alignment, and on 4th and a foot, and there were only 3 seconds to go on the 25-second clock. So Penn State will use one of their timeouts. 13:34 to play in the 1st half. We've got a timeout to score. Penn State 10, Maryland nothing, and we'll be back right after this.
Every meal a natural success. Begin with Rocca's Gourmet Pasta, made fresh daily and frozen immediately. All of their products are made with Durham semolina wheat flour and whole eggs. Rocca's tortellini with cheese or meat filling is deliciously different. Homemade pasta has never been so easy. Add the goodness and quality of Odenwald fruits and Nolico vegetables. Odenwald is an orchard of fine fruits, hand-picked and perfectly preserved in their naturally light juices. Nolico vegetables are harvested at the peak of flavor and quick-packed to capture that farm freshness. Then include the tempting taste of Lamagna ricotta cheese. For over 50 years, Lamagna cheese has been bringing out the best in pastas. Made with pure milk and hot-packed for freshness, Lamagna ricotta cheese refreshes salads and enhances desserts. It's the ricotta for all reasons. Look for these 100% natural foods in your favorite grocery store.
4th and a foot for Penn State near the Maryland 20-yard line. We'd like to remind you that this game is being brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, brewers of Budweiser, Michelob, Busch, and L.A. Beer. So thanks to Anheuser-Busch for your support of Eastern College football. 4th down and a foot, Coach Paterno. They got the 3-back offense, so they had it in there. I know you'd like to see a play fake and...
No, not at this juncture of the game.
Well,
it's too early.
He's mellowing in his old age. Usually he wants to just, you know...
Well, they're moving the ball pretty well. In fact, Maryland substituted their 2 defensive guard positions. They got Arnold and Baker in there. And they got 2 tough running backs in there with Manoa now and Dozier. They should be able to make... Their offensive line's been getting a pretty good surge. And they should be able to make this 1st down. Big play from Maryland's defense, obviously.
Absolutely. Domidio and Cyberling, a double tight end. You have the 3-back offense with Smith on a wing left. Manoa is the front man in the eye. Dozier the deep man. Smith in motion. Dozier. 1st down and more. Gets outside and he's down to the 15-yard line. Keita Covington made the tackle, but some great blocking up front for Dozier, who gets 6 and a Penn State 1st down.
Well, they did a great job of sealing to the inside and kicking out on the end. They use Smith now as a blocker. They put him in motion from a wing. Manoa does a great job on a linebacker, allowing DJ to make a good cut, makes a big 1st down.
Manoa's block was on Chuck Fawcett, who was an All-American candidate at linebacker. I mentioned Manoa, the best blocking back. Schaefer. Complete inside the 5-yard line. Ray Roundtree with the catch, and he took a serious lick, but it's a Penn State 1st down. Boy, the Penn State pass offense looks very, very sharp.
Nothing wrong with John Schaefer today. He drilled this in. He had to drill it low, allowing Roundtree to come back to it a little bit and makes a great catch, but he's hit every receiver. The only incomplete pass he has is the one that went out of bounds. Excellent protection. It was a play-action pass, which was on 1st down. Maryland didn't expect.
Great job. That may have been Michael Timpson who made the catch and not Roundtree. 5 instead of 6. Tim Manoa pounding to the 2. Manoa, the junior from Pittsburgh, North Hills area. It'll be 2nd down and goal from around the 2-yard line.
Now, Maryland has gone into their goal line defense. You see, this is straight wedging. Now, Smith released the center a little too quick to go up on the linebacker, allowing one of the defensive men to pinch. I'm sure Penn State's going to try off tackle again.
There's Tommy Parker, number 91, who weighs 284 pounds, at least at the start of this game. Double tight end for Penn State. Same alignment on the short yardage, except they're in a pro set. Schaefer wants to throw, throws in the corner, touchdown! The pass complete to one of the tight ends, Bob Williams.
What a catch.
The play fake, and Bob Williams, one of the reserve tight ends, the touchdown catch.
Understand what they did. Maryland expecting to run, obviously. They released the tight end quickly on a slant pattern. Now, he made a great catch. He hits the ball with his left hand, bats it into his right hand. A good piece of luck for Penn State. The corners will run off by the flank.
What a great catch by Bob Williams. Manka with the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Nittany Lions driving for the touchdown. 12:04 to play in the first half. We've got a timeout. It's Penn State 17 and Maryland nothing. We'll be back right after this.
We were working Yellow Pages out of Bell Atlantic. A local shopkeeper couldn't beat the competition, so she beat it out of town.
You want to tell us about it, ma'am?
I don't know what to say.
Your competition does. Frank?
Is there at?
In the Yellow Pages.
And you're just a name and a number.
I guess I was wrong.
Right.
On March 3rd, the subject began serving lots more customers with an ad of the Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, published by Bell of Pennsylvania. We wrote the book.
Turn on TV 29. The fun is back in weeknights with What's Happening at 5.
What's happening?
Laverne and Shirley at 5:30.
I have found my stars. What's up, pussycat?
And Happy Days at 6. It's Philadelphia's best in comedy. That's What's Happening at 5. Laverne and Shirley at 5:30 and Happy Days at 6. All coming September 16th.
Turn us on. WTAF TV 29.
Penn State completing an 80-yard drive. A great catch by the tight end Bob Williams, a senior from Easton, Pennsylvania. An 80-yard drive, a beauty. 8 plays, 5 passes, 3 runs, 324. And again, Schaefer with his first touchdown pass of the year and only the second of his career. Last year, John Schaefer threw 1 touchdown pass, 10 interceptions. And of all the things that have happened so far here, George, I think the development of Schaefer throwing on first down may have been the most significant factor.
Well, excellent play selection. That's the second time they caught Maryland totally flat-footed. They let Williams go. They were looking for a run. Had a wing formation. The wing ran the cornerback off. He was left unguarded. He made a great catch. But he definitely fooled me.
I'm wondering if that's similar to the play as you see Bobby Ross, who's got to be greatly concerned. Maryland really built their entire season on this game. I mean, they have been pointing to this for a long time, the 20-game losing streak. However, do not ever consider Maryland out of the ball game. They have come back on several occasions.
Maryland being down 17-0 is like another team being down 3-0. So there's a long way to go.
Keita Covington back deep. Manka. Good kick. It's a good kick. Covington approaches, takes at the clear. Breaks some tackles, still on his feet. And he's all the way out to the 40-yard line. Let me get Covington. The return back in the ball game. It's got the Maryland sideline all fired up. Massimo Manka had to come out and assist on the eventual tackle.
Well, he did what you want returners to do. He made somebody miss. Now watch him come up in the seam, and I think that's
Barry Bookman.
Barry Bookman, number 26, missed the tackle. When you do that, the guy with Covington speed is going to hurt you.
And Maryland takes over at their own 41-yard line. Gilbaugh gives to Blunt. Got some running room. It's about 2 yards out to the 43. Mike Russo and Rogers Alexander made the tackle for Penn State. Penn State really, George, has not had to substitute a great deal on defense because they have not been on defense a great deal. The last 2 Penn State drives consumed a great deal of time.
They've had a lot of good balance in their substitutions.
Badonic and Blunt are the running backs. Chris Knight, number 85. goes out as tight end. Edmonds back in. Here's a counter play. Gelbaugh's in trouble. He throws out the flat to no one in particular. He dumped that as much as anything. He was looking for a Badonic, but Michael Zordich again was in the area, and Chris Collins forced Gelbaugh to throw very early. Chris Collins, number 38.
Penn State better be careful, though. The way they played that, they're bringing Zordich out on the slot. And Ray Isom, the safety's up pretty tight to fill in case they try to run to that side. They'll have to come back and try to hit the wide receiver on a deep post, and it's going to isolate that defensive back, and that's tough cover.
Gelbaugh now 4 out of 10. He's missed his last 3 in a row. Maryland 4 out of 5 on third down conversion. Penn State the blitz. Here comes Russo. Look out. Russo's got him around the ankles and sacks him back at the 30-yard line. Tim Johnson also went on the play, but Mike Russo made the big rush and got the sack.
Well, Stan, this is a great example when it's to your advantage. Now, Penn State's got him 3rd and long. They come with a rush with just the down people, dropped everybody off. Gelbaugh could not find a receiver.
Jim Coates back deep, right to punt. Not a very good one either. Coates will let it bounce, and it'll roll out of bounds near the Penn State 27-yard line. Well, Penn State's defense again stops Maryland. 10:38 to play in the first half. Penn State with their 17-0 lead. And the Nittany Lion offense will come out of the field. 10:38 to play in the half. We've got a timeout to score. Penn State 17, Maryland nothing. We'll be back right after this. Leading 17-0 will take over at their own 27, and the Nittany Lions have gone with a complete second-team offensive line. Stephen Davis, Rich Cousy, Keith Radisick, Steve Wisniewski, Leo's younger brother, the freshman, and Dan Morgan. Uford Cooper is the fullback, and David Clark is the tailback. This is Cooper. Not much doing there. Half a yard at best. Richie Pettibone made the tackle for Maryland. Let's call it no gain and bring up 2nd down and 10 yards to go. So we'll see how that second-team offensive line does for Penn State. Kevin Walker also helped on the tackle. Sophomore from West Milford, Pennsylvania. A lot of Pennsylvanians on this Maryland team. And we get a respot of the ball here at the 29. Let's give them a gain of a yard. 2nd down and 9. Schaefer looking sideline for Roundtree, but it is overthrown. Good coverage on the play. One of the outside linebackers dropped off. Steve Kelly, number 53. He had Roundtree all the way. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9 yards to go. Schaefer now 6 out of 9, and he has the 1 touchdown. Penn State 1 out of 3 on 3rd down conversion.
Excellent defensive anticipation by the Maryland defense. Now they're starting to play those 4 big guys to the inside. I think Penn State can run the ball outside. Get DJ back in there and try to get outside.
Penn State at this point with an entire unit of second-string players except for the quarterback and wide receiver. Would like to move the ball, give that first offense a little bit more rest. Schaefer almost falls. He goes back. Got room to run. There's a flag down. Wide open is Clark, and he drops it. Penn State's going to get called for a holding anyway, but it would have given Penn State an option. As it is, David Clark drops the ball. Maryland will decline the penalty, and Penn State will be forced to punt.
Well, so far it's been a well-played game, and you know, the back that dropped the ball, when he comes back and he sees a penalty, that's one of the few times as a ball player you're glad you got penalized. You know? So the goat horns go off you. First punt coming up from Penn State. Second punt.
Holding. Offense declined. 4th down.
As we suspected, the holding call, of course, is declined by Maryland. You really can't see Clark wide open there. As you saw the secondary, they came over on the coverage. The safety did when they saw Clark being that wide open. Keita Covington is back. The first punt of the game for John Bruno, who averaged nearly 42 yards per punt last year. Watch out, they got a punt block on. Bruno gets it away, and it's a pretty good kick. Could use a roll, doesn't get one. Goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line. So it's a 42-yard punt with no return. A good job by John Bruno. 9:39 to play in the first half. There's a timeout on the field. Penn State still leading it 17-0. We'll be back in just a moment.
I don't want my husband falling down on the job, so I keep his strength up with a complete homemade breakfast. That's where the Hostess Breakfast Bake Shop comes in. It helps keep him home for breakfast.
What's the special today, hon?
Donuts, fresh Hostess donuts.
Powdered donuts, my favorite.
And cinnamon. When they eat at home, I'm sure they're eating right. And I like starting the day together. So keep them home for breakfast with Hostess.
Get a delicious burst of jelly in every bite with Hostess O's.
This is Dick Vermeil. I'm going to try to convince you to buy a new Cadillac, and I've got plenty of ammunition. So hear me out. First, your Cadillac Super Network dealers are clearing out their 85s at final closeout prices. Second, for a limited time, you get a special 7.7% interest rate if you buy an 85 Fleetwood, DeVille, or Cimarron. You can save thousands of dollars if you act now. 7.7%, fantastic. Visit your Cadillac Super Network dealer. That will convince you.
After the punt by John Bruno, Maryland will take over near the 30-yard line. 9:39 to play. Both teams substituting freely. At least Maryland has on defense, but on offense, George, they have pretty much gone with the first-team offensive line.
Let's see how this matchup goes. You got Maryland's first-string offense against Penn State, second-string defensive line and linebackers.
Although we should mention that Penn State, by and large, has their first-string defensive backs in, but with second-team linebackers, some of them, and a second-team defensive line. Yell ball. A lot of time. Sideline. Fought for a first down on the far side at the 41-yard line. Running out of bounds. Good gang tackling by Penn State is Abdul Raouf. Maryland fans want a penalty flag drop.
They did get one. Now that is not intelligent football. Well, there's a yell. There's a flag, yeah.
It's going to go 15 yards, perhaps, against Trey Bauer. Lance Hamilton made the initial hit, but Bauer came up after Raouf was over the sideline.
Again, there's an example. Once you have the play made, no matter how hard you hit the man is irrelevant. It cost him 15 yards.
Defense, push down.
So that turns into being a 25-yard play for Maryland.
You see, now he makes a good catch. Single coverage and against zone defense. And Holder tries to spin out. Now right here, 31 should have let him go. Shane Conlon, I believe, the penalty line.
This is Blunt. He's got blockers. 40. And finally brought down inside the 35 of the 33-yard line. Ray Isom brought him down. But Alvin Blunt made some nice cuts, used his blockers very well.
They caught Penn State in the wrong defense. Now it's a counter play to the outside. A great kick-out block on the corner. Bykowski or Bookman got caught to the inside, and the ball carrier Blount was able, almost broke it.
At the line of scrimmage, Conlon crashed inside, got caught inside. First down and 10 at the 33. Badonic. He's hit hard at the 31-yard line. Good, solid hit by Trey Bauer. Also, Matt Johnson and Pete Kirkendall. Pretty good hit by Penn State. Gain of a couple, second down and 8.
You know, anytime you get a good football team, you give them a break, they'll come back with a big play. That's Conlon 31 meeting that Badonic head on. Power against power. And Timmy Johnson in there.
Second down. 8. Wide to the left are Sullivan in the slot. Raouf also in the slot. Gelbaugh to Badonic, and he's got it near the 27-yard line. A little flat pattern. Duffy Cobb came up to make the tackle on Badonic. He had help from Pete Giftopoulos. Gain of around 5. It'll bring up third down and 4 yards to go.
Well, that was a little dump off. Good coverage. You see Giftopoulos here. Chugs the receiver, tries to get out in the flat. Now he's a safety valve. They just dumped it off Badonic. Good, intelligent football.
Maryland 4 out of 6 on third down conversions. There you see Giftopoulos, sophomore from Hamilton, Ontario, has got a reception today. Maryland 4 out of 6 on third down conversions. Draw play. And a first down for Maryland. It looked for a while like Blount was in trouble. but he gained 6 yards to the Penn State 21. Trey Bauer finally brought Blunt down.
That's the exact same counter play. A little stunt to the inside, and they kick out Dave Graham. You see Dave Graham get caught there. And number 73, Kirkendall, had the outside responsibility on that stunt with the defensive end, and he was kicked out. Blount made the first down.
Blunt now 36 yards on 7 carries, and the Terrapins pick up their 10th first down of the game, but they have yet to score. Badonic, quick pitch. Big hole. Driving down near another first down at the Penn State 11. It'll be about a half yard shy. Badonic picks up 9 in the quick pitch. Ayatoa Polamalu. Again, Al Pola. He's changed his name back to his Samoan name, made the stop.
All right. Now, Penn State had a tendency of doing this last year. You'll see Giftopoulos coming in, playing off the blocker, overrun. He misses Badonic, had him on the line of scrimmage. You cannot do that against a good football team.
Watch Polamalu get knocked out.
Polamalu's double team. You don't expect him to make the play. Giftopoulos has full responsibility. Badonic makes the cut to the inside. 2nd down and 1. Badonic. He's got a first down, still on his feet at the 9-yard line. But it's a Maryland first down. It'll be first down and goal. Their 11th first down of the game. Stan, from a defensive point of view, if you want a team to have a first down inside your 10, the spot is the 9-yard line. That's tough. That'll be the toughest 9 yards in football.
Well, Maryland has been stopped cold. Their last 2 drives have been forced to punt on both of them. But they have moved the ball pretty well between the 20-yard lines before a couple interceptions stopped them. First and goal. It's Farrell Edmonds, the tight end, in motion. Pitch wide. Blunt almost drops it. Now he's hit and stopped, and a great tackle by Lance Hamilton. He beat the block by Abdur Rauf. What a tremendous individual effort by Lance Hamilton.
I can't tell you how great that was. It was 1-on-1. Zordich came in on a corner blitz, and Blount puts a move on him. Now watch here. Watch Blount fake Zordich out. Goes to the outside. Looked like he's got daylight. Hamilton plays off the offensive blocker, Abdur Rauf, the flanker, and makes a great tackle.
The senior from Wilkes-Barre, 5'11", 183, the younger brother of Harry Hamilton. What a great play. 2nd and goal now from the 11. Receiver split to either side. Gelbaugh over the middle, incomplete. He threw behind the intended receiver, Eric Holder. He was there, but he threw behind. Gelbaugh not having much of an afternoon.
He tried to aim that. The receiver got wide open real quick. He took an inside post. It was man-to-man coverage on the wide people. Holder busted to the inside, and then Gelbaugh tried to steer the ball, threw behind him. Now watch this. He's wide open. Alexander came on. Johnson came on a blitz. Right here, he had him. He threw behind.
3rd down and goal from the 11-yard line. Gelbaugh now 6 out of 13. Let's see if Penn State comes with a blitz. Gelbaugh over the middle. It is caught, but stopped at the 5-yard line. Penn State give up the yardage underneath, but Zordich and Rogers Alexander buried Sean Sullivan. It is 4th down and goal from the 5. What will Bobby Ross do?
Penn State was very happy to give him that play underneath, and hoping that Maryland would have enough yardage to go to consider going to the field goal. Now, Coach Ross has a tough decision to make here. It's up to him what he wants to do, but it's still very early in the ball game.
Well, you're going to need a field goal
sooner or later
down the line. Well, let's see at this juncture.
Well, you know, it's 5 yards. It's tough 5 yards to make, and it's 4th down. Penn State has a defensive advantage. I would presume he'd go for the field goal.
I'll tell you what.
We'll see.
George, if I were coaching, perish the people just shuddered at home. I think if the ball were from the 3-yard line in, I would consider it because I can use a rollout. But really, from the 5-yard line, if Penn State were to be able to hold Maryland here on 4th and goal, there's no question that it would give them a big lift. And now the field goal unit is coming onto the field. Ross, apparently anyway, will attempt the field goal with Ramon Paradas.
Not only that, but Gelbaugh is not a real good runner, and they don't run an option game. So Penn State, you know, is in pretty good shape defense.
Apparently the Blue Angels are approving the decision by Bobby Ross. Ramon Paradas, a junior. He replaces a very good kicker, Jess Atkinson. Now that's Dan Henning, the son of the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, the holder. It'll be a 23-yarder. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So Maryland gets on the board with 5:02 to play in the half. Well, I think the Penn State defense has to feel pretty good about holding them down.
Absolutely, and also a lesson should be taught to not to make dumb plays when you have a lot of momentum going your way. Don't turn the momentum back to the opponent by making unnecessary penalties, causing unnecessary penalties.
That was the late hit on the out of bounds on the pass completion, turned a 10-yard completion into a 25-yard gain and seemed to fire them up. But the Penn State defense was able to hang tough. And the big play, unquestionably, is the play by Lance Hamilton, because if he doesn't make the play, Blunt's in for a touchdown.
Absolutely.
17-3. Penn State coming into the game, a one-touchdown underdog. And I have to tell you, not necessarily the score, but the way the game has transpired in the first half, I must admit I'm surprised.
Well, I think everybody's surprised to some degree. I think this is the way they probably drew it up on the board. Whether the coaches from Penn State felt that they could execute this well. They got a big break early, and that interception by Zordich, aside from the 7 points, had to give their defense a tremendous lift.
I want to remind you that next Saturday, a week from today, at the same time, 12 noon Eastern time, George now be on hand for the Penn State Temple ball game at Beaver Stadium in University Park. We hope you'll join us on the TCS Sports Television Network for Eastern College Football. Temple at Penn State. Now, Bruce Arians, I'll get to him in a minute, 65 yards. They settle for the field goal by Ramon Paradas. Bruce Arians was quoted very early in preseason practice saying, well, I don't see any reason why we can't go undefeated. So he's put some pressure on, although Bruce Arians is in the process of rebuilding that Temple program. They were 6-5 a year ago, and that is a major advancement for Temple, and he's building a program.
A great option team could cause you a lot of problems.
Jim Coates and the freshman Blair Thomas back deep. This is Thomas at the 4. He's got room. He fumbles. And Maryland recovers the 30-yard line. And that could put Maryland right back into the game. Blair Thomas, the freshman running back. And you sometimes live and sometimes die with freshmen. Fumbles. And the recovery by Danny Swingle.
Well, that's the one thing you certainly didn't want to see Penn State do. He's got a nice wedge. He gets a little reckless. He's pumping with his right hand. A lot of moisture on his palm. The ball pops loose. Big break for Maryland.
Thomas, freshman out of Philadelphia. Top-notch running back. It was Kevin Walker, the linebacker, that knocked the ball loose. So now Maryland can get back within a touchdown. Blunt cuts inside, hit hard at the 28-yard line. Good play by Shane Conlon. He also had help from Michael Zordich. What looked like a rather large hole closed quickly, and it ends in only a 2-yard gain. 2nd down and 8.
Well,
big series for the Penn State defense.
Penn State's changing their defensive alignments and with a few stunts has pretty much got Maryland's running game under control. The only thing they've hurt him with is a little counter. Maryland's going to have to hit some passes to get the ball in the end zone.
2nd and 8, the clock running, 4:20 to play in the half. 17-3 Penn State. Blunt, blockers to the outside, hit hard at the 23, near the 22-yard line. But a good gain for Alvin Blunt. Lance Hamilton came up to make the tackle. What a sizable gain. It'll be 3rd down and 2 yards to go for the 1st down.
That's the 3rd time they've run that play. It's like a counter draw to the outside, seal off to the inside, kick out. They get the defensive end up the field a little bit, and they're running that very successfully to the sidelines.
Hamilton shaken up a bit on the play. Eddie Johnson, a freshman from Lindenwold, New Jersey, number 39, is on the corner. 3rd down and 2. Badonic. A lot of room. 1st down at the Penn State 17-yard line. Just a quick pitch and a power sweep. Donnie Graham made the tackle. But Badonic picks up 5, and Maryland with a 1st down at the Penn State 17. And the fumbled kickoff could change the complexion of this entire game.
Well, we mentioned a little bit before about with perspiration and moisture, there would be some turnovers in the game because of that. That was evident in that particular case. It went against Penn State.
It could be such an emotional turnaround. Penn State really in control at that point.
I think Maryland will try to throw the ball. They're fighting the clock a little bit here.
Badonic, quick trap up the middle. He's got big yardage inside the 10 and down near the 8-yard line. Badonic powering his way in. Mike Euler finally made the tackle with help from Isom, but watch Badonic.
Again, this is basically zone blocking, one-on-one, big offensive line against the defensive down lineman of Penn State, and a real power runner right behind him. Made a nice cut to the open area over the center.
2nd down and 1 from the 8-yard line. Clock running, 2:35 to play in the half. Holder in motion. Badonic. Touchdown, Maryland. You cannot arm tackle Rick Badonic. An 8-yard touchdown run, and Maryland is right back in the game.
Now they're doing what they do so well. They got a break. They're opportunistic. You'll see Badonic on in this play when we get the replay.
Come on, Karadas, as you look at Badonic. He is their short yardage rusher, 8-yard touchdown run. Karadas will attempt the extra point. And it's good. So Penn State, which jumped out to a 17-0 lead, now has seen Maryland score 10 points consecutively, and it is 17-10.
Now you see why Badonic's so dangerous. Now watch him cut this back against the grain, gets a good block by Marvell, and busts the tackle on Zordich, and Zordich is a good tackle. When he gets shoulders squared away, coming upfield, this will emphasize the power of Rick Badonic, one of the best short yardage runners in the country. Nice cut, good blocking by the offensive line, runs over Mike Zordich, one of the better tacklers on Penn State.
Make no mistake about it, that is an excellent offensive line for the University of Maryland, unquestionably. I mean, they can run the ball well, they pass protect well, they are just big and strong, and a very tough offensive line. So Maryland back within 7, but I think from an emotional standpoint, George, that was a big, big turnaround. If Penn State could have been able to run out the clock with 4.5 to play, they would have been in control emotionally of the game, and they would have been receiving the second-half kickoff.
Well, they're so used to coming back, they never give up. But 2 errors by Penn State, 2 different type of errors have given Maryland the 10 points, and they're certainly back in this ballgame.
Blair Thomas to the near side, and Jim Coates to the far side will return the kick. This is Thomas again at the goal line. Room on the sideline. Makes a cut to the 25 and gets out to the 26-yard line. We'll keep an eye on that for later on, but there certainly is room for Penn State to return the ball. Sean Scott, the reserve linebacker, made the tackle for Maryland.
And I was happy Joe left Thomas in there to return that one, too. Keep his confidence up.
Badonic, who scored so many touchdowns last year, 17 rushing. They get short yardage. They just really want to blast away. Steve Smith and David Clark are the running backs. We haven't seen Dozier for quite some time. He's only carried on 2 occasions. Smith, not much doing. A yard to the 27. Tommy Parker, junior from Baltimore, 284 pounds, made the tackle. 2nd down and 9. Clock rolling down to the 2-minute mark.
I don't think Joe Paterno's going to kill the ball, but he's going to be awfully careful here in this position with only about 2 minutes to go. And as you said, DJ Dozier now, we don't know if he's hurt, but he might be just resting him, hoping that he has a big second half.
Both teams, in case you're wondering, have 2 timeouts remaining. 2nd down and 9. Schaefer's going to throw. Smith. And a flag is down at the 29. The gain would be a yard and bring up 3rd and 8. But there's a flag, as you saw. I didn't see any Penn State players around, although Farrat was out there trying to throw a block.
Might have had an illegal lineman downfield. I'm not sure.
No, I think he just fell out of his pocket. Disregard the flag. The gain of 1 on the completion to Steve Smith. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
It's so hot out here, the official was using the flag to wipe his brow, I think.
Well, the clock should be running, and it is not, which works to Maryland's advantage and Penn State's disadvantage. The clock should be running. That was a completed pass. Well, that's a break for Maryland, unquestionably. Now it's still not moving.
Joe's making a complaint about it.
Yeah. Schaefer looking deep, and it is intercepted. Donald Brown at the Penn State 49-yard line.
Well, I don't think that was a wise decision, but they're showing that they came to play. However, Penn State actually lost about 15 seconds on that clock. It did not run.
Oh, at least that much. But the interception by Donald Brown gives the ball to Maryland in Penn State territory.
He held up a little too long. He's trying to get the ball to the tight end up the seam. And that time Schaefer waited a little too long and threw the ball a little too high. Dangerous play. Again, Maryland is in a position to put some more points up on the board.
2 timeouts left, 1:21 to play in the half. To give you an idea of who is doing what, Joe Paterno once talked to the official about the time that did not go on the clock. Maryland has run 44 plays to Penn State's 22.
You see the tight end Domidio coming from right to left. He's supposed to get that ball right over the middle. Schaefer waited a little too long. He was free there for a second. Throws it long and deep, and Maryland comes up with it. Brown makes the interception.
Now you see Penn State and Joe Paterno talking to the official about the clock. As we mentioned to you, on the pass completion to Steve Smith, the flag was thrown mistakenly. All right, you can understand the clock stopping there, but as soon as the referee signaled that there was an inadvertent dropping of the flag, the clock should have restarted, and it cost Penn State about 15 seconds, which could be critical. Although with Maryland and Penn State territory, it may not be as critical. Let's see what they're going to do about this. The interception, by the way, was by Donald Brown. He's a senior from Annapolis, Maryland.
Well, it'll be critical in the sense that Penn State wants to get as much time off that clock as they possibly can.
Now they're running it down to 1:17, which is only a 4-second difference.
That was a 15-second change over there. They have to have another official time down there.
On the game, or the 25-second clock, when the referee signaled the ball ready for play, the clock went from the 25 down to 4, so they should run off 21 seconds. If they do that, George, there should be 1 minute even on the clock.
That's what they're arguing about now.
Now they're only going to get 4 seconds off. They're not going to win this argument. And Maryland will have the ball with 1:17 to play in the half.
Now, Penn State secondary cannot go and make a mental lapse here. They just got to keep the ball in front of them.
Well, if you believe in momentum, Maryland has it right now and certainly could carry it over into the second half. Scriber, big hole, but closed quickly at the 45-yard line, turned only into a 3-yard gain. Trey Bauer and Rogers Alexander, and I think that the Penn State linebackers are closing very nicely.
They made a nice adjustment to the inside. Quick huddle by Maryland.
They'll line up on the ball, 2nd and 7. Gelbaugh looking sideline and is complete for a first down to Abdur Rauf at the Penn State 36-yard line. That'll be good for a Maryland first down. Duffy Cobbs pushed him out of bounds. And the clock stopped with 54 seconds to play in the half. Well, as you can well imagine, if Maryland is able to score before the half, this place will be up for grabs. And we'll begin a second half. Even Steven with Maryland all charged up. When they were down and the crowd was very quiet. 1st and 10 at the Penn State 36. Reading screen, Gelbaugh fumbles. He recovers, but a sack by Bob White all the way back at the 47, 48-yard line.
Well, that takes them about a field goal range. That's a broken assignment on the offensive line of Maryland. White should have not come in that easily. They were trying to throw a screen to the left. You'll see here, it was a quick screen to the left. It started to form up, and then here comes White, totally free to the outside, and Gelbaugh had to eat the ball.
Good job by Mike Russo, by the way. He read screen right away. It looked like he would want to rush the passer. Of course, that's exactly what the offense hopes that you do, but they read screen, and Bob White came in untouched. Maryland with the big advantage. Well, Penn State defense has been out there, but then again, Penn State has substituted rather freely. Maryland will have 1 timeout left, 46 seconds to play in the half. 3rd down and very make it 2nd down and 22 yards to go.
And Coach Ross has another decision to make here. Well, should he try to get the whole 6 or 7 right now, or get close enough for a field goal and hope that in the second half they can come back and get another touchdown and could win the game? Again, as a coach, I would try to get it close enough for the field goal because I got the whole second half to come back and get another touchdown. Let's see what he does.
2nd sack of the game for Penn State. I would imagine that Ross' decision is predicated on what he does on 2nd down, whether he goes for all the 20 right here, maybe tries for 10, 15 yards, which sets him up in a reasonable 3rd and 7.
Well, the point is, if he tries to go real deep and it's incomplete, now he's in a 3rd and 22 situation. And then, you know, he's got one down to get it close enough to make a field goal, which is pretty tough.
That's a big play here. 2nd and 22. Gelbaugh throws to the sideline. Blunt catches it out of bounds. Gain of about 5 yards. It'll sort of bring up 3rd down and very long. Mike Euler, sophomore from Youngstown, pushed him out of bounds. You see the time remaining. Maryland with 1 timeout left. They now have a 3rd down and 17 yards to go. They have to get realistically to around the 30-yard line.
Now, if they're interested in trying to get a field goal, they'll try to something deep over the middle in front of the safety or deep out.
Slot left. Blitz. Gelbaugh's in trouble. He throws. He's going down. And it is incomplete and almost intercepted on the play by Mike Euler. Good pass rush by Penn State. Shane Conlon on the blitz. Had Gelbaugh around the ankles. He had a throw as he was falling down. And that'll bring on the punting unit for Maryland. So Penn State is saved right there.
Stan, very impressive is the Penn State rush. They're rushing with just their down people and putting enough pressure on Gelbaugh. They're not blitzing that much. That's just a one-on-one pass rush. And I haven't seen this good a pass rush in a long time.
Wright will try to kick it out of bounds here. It's a bad kick. Way out of bounds. I don't see where they mark it. They're going to mark it up near the 30-yard line. About the Penn State 29. Only 29 seconds to play. So Penn State will run 1 play, and that'll be the end of the half. So the defense certainly did their job, and the big play of that sequence, nullifying the interception by Donald Brown, was the sack by Bob White. It really knocked Maryland out of whack.
Absolutely.
You know, the other impressive thing about the pass rush is that Maryland does not seem to be able to concentrate on where it's coming from. It has come from all different places.
They're changing. They're coming from 2 different sides. Sometimes they're just coming with a corner and a linebacker. They're not going. They haven't totally used a total blitz.
All right, 29 seconds to play. Maryland has 1 timeout left. Schaefer, draw play to Dozier. He'll be hit behind the line of scrimmage and lose a couple, but that should be it for the first half of play. Neither team will call timeout. The other thing about that 3-4 defense is that almost on every play there's a linebacker coming. That does not necessarily connotate a blitz. There's usually just one guy coming from somewhere.
What they did that time, we mentioned at the top of the show about moving White around. That time they got him up in a 2-point stance, moved him outside like a linebacker, overshifted the line and came from that side, and he's awfully quick.
Well, a very good first half of football. That is the end of the first half of play. The score, Penn State 17 and Maryland 10. We'll be back right after this. We were 7 out of 12, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Stan Gelbaugh, 9 out of 17. He has been intercepted twice, has not thrown a touchdown pass. And one of the big factors, you see Penn State coming back onto the field, 2 sacks by the Nittany Lions. Penn State, by the way, did not go into the locker room at halftime. Joe Paterno, out of 12, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Stan Gelbaugh, 9 out of 17. He has been intercepted twice, has not thrown a touchdown pass. And one of the big factors, you see Penn State coming back onto the field, 2 sacks by the Nittany Lions. Penn State, by the way, did not go into the locker room at halftime. Joe Paterno kept the players outside where the breeze can get at them. We look across the way, we can see where the Penn State team was dressing, and they kept them outside on the lawn and just talked to them out there because it was so hot. Maryland went into their locker room. They are now coming back on the near side.
Another thing that is kind of whetting my imagination to a point is that has Joe pre-designed a second half kind of a barrage with DJ Dozier. Being that he only ran with the ball a few times, he should be very fresh. We don't know of any injuries, and we've heard he had a great preseason.
One of the impressive things that I've noticed, George, the Penn State offensive line has been very strong this afternoon, and indeed Joe Paterno told us that he believed that his offensive line showed the most progress from the beginning of summer camp to today's opening game.
And he also said he didn't think there was much difference between the first offensive unit and the second offensive unit. Now, all those things can be a super plus in the second half if they turn out to be true, and this is what we're going to find out.
Well, we've certainly seen turnovers become a factor. They normally are in football games. The interception by Zordich, the interception by Giftopoulos, the fumble by Blair Thomas, which gave Maryland the ball at the Penn State 30. Drove it in for a touchdown to make this a 17-10 game.
The thing you have to like about Maryland, Stan, is that when they get behind, they just come right back to do what they do best, and they keep pounding at you, and, you know, they're always a threat.
Well, one of the things that Joe Paterno was mentioning last night was that he recognized how dangerous a team Maryland could be if they fall very far behind. He said what he didn't know was whether they could get into a slug them out up and down the field game where the score would seesaw back and forth. And of course, that's what we've pretty much got right now.
If I was to make a, you know, try to act smart, which sometimes for me is difficult.
Pretty good acting job.
I would think that the onus would be on Penn State's offense to start moving the ball and be able to play some ball control. I think their defense will stand up pretty well to control Maryland. You're not going to keep them out of the end zone. I mean, they're too good. But they have to get better offensive drives and maybe put together a long drive and take it in for, you know, a score or two, or certainly one touchdown, or not 10 points, or I think Maryland will come back and win the game.
There's John Schaefer. You see his statistics and a pretty impressive performance. Again, a quarterback competition in preseason between Schaefer and Matt Kisner. Schaefer was named the starter about a week ago. He has performed well tonight. Basketball coaches will tell you the first 5 minutes of a half are exceptionally important. I think with the mood of the crowd, Maryland playing at home, the first 5 minutes could be critical, because if Penn State is unable to move the ball, forced to punt, and Maryland would go in to score, obviously the entire game just turns right around. Well, we're all set to begin the second half of play. That's Rick Bodonic, who scored the lone Maryland touchdown, an 8-yard run. He's also their leading rusher with 53 yards. He's a tough customer, tough ball player. One of the other games, we will see Penn State and Temple next week. At this point, Temple trailing Boston College 9-7. That game in Chestnut Hill, 9-7. Boston College leading Temple. The kick. Coates at the 6. Coates on his feet out to the 27, near the 28-yard line. Coates on the return and the tackle by O'Brien Alston, reserve linebacker. There you see Jim Coates. He's a sophomore out of Niles, Ohio, which is in northeastern Ohio. Penn State starting out at their own 27. They have had one long drive in the game, that an 80-yard touchdown drive. Key play there was a 50-yard bomb to Michael Timpson. Steve Smith and DJ Dozier, the running backs behind John Schaefer. Dozier looking to get outside, and he does not get there. Tried to string her out along the line of scrimmage. The defense strung it out and stopped Dozier for no gain. Steve Kelly, the right outside linebacker, made the tackle on Dozier.
All right, this is excellent defense by Maryland. They string it out. DJ possibly could have made a cut here, and Brown comes up, makes a nice tackle, one-on-one.
Well, second down and 10. Dozier now, only 10 yards, 4 carries. Dean DeMidio switching sides. Dozier on a wing left. Smith is the lone setback. Drop play to Smith. Still driving, and a good run by Steve Smith out to the 32-yard line. Smith got 5 pretty much on his own. That'll bring up 3rd and 5. Steve Kelly and Al Covington made the tackle. Smith now 32 yards on 5 carries.
Nice block by Conlon, the tackle, number 57.
Well, it's 3rd down and 5, and Penn State only 1 out of 5 on 3rd down conversions. That was a little screen pass, a dump pass to Steve Smith in the first quarter. So a very big 3rd down play in terms of momentum. Schaefer over the middle, and it is intercepted by Fawcett. Fawcett inside the 30 and brought down to the 28-yard line. Dozier made the tackle, but Chuck Fawcett batted it up in the air, recovered his own tip. Schaefer intercepted again, and now Maryland only 28 yards away from tying the game.
Well, it was a little fake draw, and they tried to hit the tight end on a curl. Fawcett, you'll watch it here. Now, a little fake to the inside to Smith. There's your tight end, DeMidio. Both linebackers did not take the fake. Not too wise a decision by Schaefer. really the first big error he's made.
13:32 to play in the third quarter. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 17 and Maryland 10. When we come back, Maryland has it first and 10 at the Penn State 28-yard line. We'll be back right after this. During the timeouts here, because of the oppressive heat, they're making announcements to the people in the stands what to do in case they're not feeling well. I would imagine they're not feeling real well on the Penn State sideline at this point, because that's exactly the kind of thing that would shift momentum totally to Maryland's side.
Well, it's the defense in the dogfight now, but there's a play that possibly with a little bit more experience Schaefer wouldn't have made. When he saw that the tight end, those two linebackers were dropping, that's the time to look off and go for someplace else and try to find an outlet receiver. He tried to force the ball in there, and it was good defense by Maryland.
Well, the Penn State defense has been put under pressure the last quarter and a half by the Penn State offense, and Penn State special teams will have to do it again here. Gelbaugh, maybe it's a broken play, and he falls down at the 29-yard line. It was supposed to be a quick pitch to Badonic, but Badonic ran forward. Chris Collins fell on top of Gelbaugh, but it was definitely a broken play. It's a loss of a couple to bring up second down and 12.
Good break for Penn State. They were going to try to get that flip to Badonic, have him start out wide and cut back against the grain, which he does so well.
All right, Maryland will line up in a slot to the left with Holder and Abdur Raouf. Edmonds, who has not caught a pass yet today, tight end. End around to Edmonds. He's hit, breaks a tackle, got blockers, 25, 20, and finally brought down to the Penn State 12-yard line. What could have been a 5-yard loss turns into a 17-yard gain.
Well, you know, they said he can run for a big man. He's 6'6", 240. He supposedly runs a 4.5 40. Now, right there, they had him in the backfield, let him slip away, and he outruns the corner here. Turns a loss into a big game for Maryland. Excellent run.
Polamalu missed him in the backfield. Chris Collins missed him. First and 10 from the Penn State 12. Badonic looking for a hole. There is none there. Big hit by Matt Johnson, and a flag thrown late. And if it's on Penn State, it's another very, very silly mistake.
I'd like to see. He was face mask.
All right, probably incidental, but what was a no gain, it'll now make it first down and 5 yards to go instead of second down and 10, and that is a whole world of difference.
Not a wise decision. Whoever made, who's the caller?
Wrestling the face mask by the defense, a 5-yard penalty.
Well, they don't give it to you in collegiate football, but we know it's on Penn State, obviously. First down and 5.
Sometimes that happens inadvertently, and the player doesn't even realize he's done it.
Interestingly enough, to start the half, Penn State going with their second-team defense on a critical situation. Blunt driving to the 5-yard line. It'll be second down and 3 for the first down, 5 for the touchdown. Polamalu making the initial hit. Also Greg Johns playing left outside linebacker. Helped on the tackle. Junior from Westchester, PA. Second and 3 from the 5-yard line. Well, to start the second half, you would have thought the first-team unit would be in there, but no, it's the second-team defense.
I think they'll come with a corner blitz on this particular time. Here it comes.
Gelbaugh pitching out to Badonic. Badonic, touchdown, Maryland. He's just too tough to stop when he gets on the corner like that and has defensive backs to run over. That's exactly what he does.
That's exactly what happened, too, Stan. There were two people out there, but he had enough speed and momentum. You know, with all that power he got, he just dragged him in the end zone for about a 4 or 5 yard gain.
Now, both Penn State touchdowns given up have come as the result of turnovers.
They're going to go
for the 2. The throw in the end zone. It's good. And all of a sudden, Maryland leads 18-17. Chris Knight, the reception. Penn State had no idea what was going on, none whatsoever.
Absolutely caught flat-footed. Now watch Badonic make this cut here. He gets to the outside. Takes the 2 defenders with him into the end zone. Good offensive line, Surge. That's Edmonds, the big tight end who ran the end around. He gets a key block in there, and that's sheer power from there on in.
Ran over Dwayne Downing. Here's the touchdown one more time.
One more time. Rick Bodonic, the best short yardage runner in the country, and he shows it there.
His second touchdown of the game. 11:25 to play in the third quarter. We've got a timeout, and Maryland leading Penn State 18-17. We'll be back right after this.
I've heard it. Have you heard it? It's about Tic Tac. Oh, it still has just 1.5 calories, but it does something amazing. It refreshes your breath a long, long, long time. Believe it or not, one little Tic Tac will actually refresh your breath for 1.5 hours. Imagine, a whole 1.5 hours. You know something? Tic Tac refreshes you so long, maybe they should call it Tic Toc.
Tic Tac, the 1.5 hour, 1.5 calorie breath mint.
Does a mouthwash have to taste medicine-y to kill germs? We talked to a medicine-y mouthwash user about her mouthwash.
My breath smells like medicine, but it's killed the germs.
What if I told you Scope with T25 kills as many germs as your mouthwash?
I don't believe it.
Clinical tests prove it, and Scope leaves your breath minty.
I guess I'd have to try it. I think I found myself a new mouthwash. Okay, Scope tastes minty, and it leaves my breath fresh. And my old mouthwash just left a medicine smell.
Antiseptic Scope leaves your breath minty, not medicine-y.
For the first time in the game, Penn State trailing Maryland with a two-point conversion, 18-17. And Penn State just stood flat-footed on the two-point conversion, and yet they had practice against that very play on the goal line all week long.
Well, they took an end and made him a center, and he was on the end of the line, becomes an eligible receiver. And anytime you do that, you have to defend anybody that's a potential pass receiver. Penn State did not do that. He just flipped the ball back to Gelber, and he threw it back to him for the two-point conversion.
There's Bodonic trying to catch a few breaths of hot air. They're looking at his knee. Jim Coates and Blair Thomas back deep. Coates 1 yard deep in the end zone. Does not make it to the 20-yard line. He stopped near the 17-yard line. Danny Swingle, a reserve safety, made the tackle. And now Penn State starts deep in their own territory. And the Penn State offense, which has been largely unproductive since late in the first quarter, now has no choice but to move. After the interception by Fawcett, a 28-yard drive, all running plays, powering their way into the end zone, the two-point conversion, Gelbaugh tonight for the 2 points, and that's how Maryland leads it, 18-17. They've scored 18 unanswered points. Schaefer wide open in the middle. Dominio is at the 50-yard line. 33 yards and a first down. Donald Brown made the tackle, but Dominio, his first reception of the day.
Well, this time Penn State comes back, and Maryland does not defense the tight end. He's totally uncovered over the middle. They get Maryland playing the corners, wide open. Again, made a good adjustment. It wasn't a perfectly thrown ball, but he got it there.
Ball right at the 50-yard line. Again. Out in the flat to Dozier. The screen is set up. Breaks one tackle, still on his feet, and does a great job to get to the 45-yard line. There was nothing doing there, but Dozier on his own. Give him 6 on the pass completion. It is second down and 4. Brown ran him out on the corner.
And he does look fresh. You know, that two-point conversion was not as important as you think it would be, because Penn State would have gone to do anything to break the tie anyhow, and a field goal here would put him back in.
Maybe a little psychological pressure when you're playing from behind. Blair Thomas comes into the game, replacing Dozier. He's on the wing left. Second down, long 4. Schaefer wide open on the sideline, and will they rule it a complete pass? Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Well, I think Penn State got the benefit on a call on that. I didn't think he really had possession for a proper amount of time. But what they got an end up on him. They hit him in that little seam as the corner comes up. You got to drill the ball in there. He's getting great adjustments by his receivers.
I think that was a good call. I think that he caught the ball or had possession long enough. In any event, it's a Penn State first down at the Maryland 29-yard line. Checkoff at the line of scrimmage. Schaefer to throw again. Looking sideline open, overthrown for Roundtree. Roundtree was wide open.
Well, that was an automatic, Stan, as you can tell. He audibilized that. He had him wide open, and you got to hit those. I mean, to beat a team like Maryland, you got to put the ball on the money.
I must really admit that I'm surprised that Penn State has not run the ball more than they have, or perhaps a better way to phrase it is that they have passed the ball as many times as they have.
Well, as I said, Joe figures Ross anticipated they couldn't throw that well and probably primed his defenses for the run.
Mike Alexander wide to the near side, Timpson wide left, Dozier slot left. Penn State likes to run draws from this formation. 2nd down and 10. Schaefer over the middle. Seiberling can't get it. Seiberling is 6'7", but pretty good defense of the play by Scott Shankweiler, number 30. Knocks the ball down. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10. And Penn State only 1 out of 6 on 3rd down conversion.
Well, it was excellent coverage. Shankweiler had him all the way. And what he does, actually, it could have been caught, but it was, it was good coverage, and just that the ball is a little slippery because of the moisture.
Well, Shankweiler's 5'11", Seiberling 6'7", so the height advantage and the jump ball was there. But incomplete. Timpson, 5. Roundtree, slot near side on 3rd and 10. Batted up in the air. Schaefer gets zone pass and drops it. That'll be an incomplete pass. Now, he is allowed to catch the ball. He is allowed to catch the ball after the ball is touched by a defender, but he dropped it for an incompletion and thus saved himself 6 yards and probably gave Manka a chance for a field goal. Had he caught the ball and been tackled, Penn State may have had to punt. They were looking for a slant pattern out of Timpson out of the slot.
Well, good defense, but it seems to me Schaefer's having a little trouble dropping back. He doesn't look like he's got good balance dropping straight back.
All right, Manka going to attempt a field goal. It'll be a 47-yarder. He is 1 for 1 on the day. 47 yards and an angle to the right. This could give Penn State the lead. Kick is long enough, and the kick is good. Massimo Manka with a 47-yard field goal, and Penn State once again leapfrogs into the lead. 9:46 to play in the 3rd quarter. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 20, Maryland 18. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're never too old, you're never too young. There's a Daly's treat for everyone. Fresh fruit flavors as good as can be, loaded with tons of vitamin C. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, Daly's has a flavor just right for you. And what are you waiting for? Who could deserve it more? Treat yourself to the fun. There's a Daly's treat for everyone.
ES Turbo. The dream is real.
Penn State leading on top again, 20-18 with 9:46 to play in the 3rd quarter. We would like to remind you that this game is being brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, brewers of Budweiser, Michelob, Busch, and LA Beers. Thanks to Anheuser-Busch for their support of Eastern College football. Penn State moving 54 yards for the 47-yard field goal by Manka. The big play, a 33-yard completion from John Schaefer to tight end Dean DeVidio. So here we go again. Keita Covington to receive the kick from Manka. Penn State, they have turned it over 3 times. Maryland has turned it over twice. Corner of the end zone, and it will go out for the touchback. Hit right on the goal line and bounced over the end zone line. Now, Badonic, you see, has had problems with that knee, and that would hurt Maryland a great deal, obviously, if he is not able to come back. He's the leading rusher in the ball game and has scored both Maryland touchdowns.
They had an ice pack on that. That indicates some kind of a Charlie horse or something, a blow to the muscle. But, I mean, the guy's probably saying, what do you have to do? I just come out and got to go right back in at it again.
You see Dozier on the sideline. Of course, he's wearing that knee brace as a matter of course. Well, Scriber comes in as the fullback. Alvin Blunt, the tailback. Knight in motion near side. Pitch wide to Scriber. Beats the corner, beats Lance Hamilton. He's got a 15-yard gain to the 35-yard line. Now again, Stephon Scriber is 225 pounds. If he turns the corner, he's going to bury a cornerback like a Lance Hamilton, and he did just there.
And they put the big tight end Edmonds in motion for blocking, but it looked like Penn State was made a mistake defensively. They had everybody bunched inside, and there didn't seem to be any contained. And then you're asking Hamilton to come up and take a 235-pound fullback on one-on-one.
First team defensive line back in, a 15-yard gain. Gelbaugh on the straight drop. A little flat pass, incomplete, thrown too hard for Alvin Blunt. He was too close to him. Donnie Graham came in, had his arms raised, and forced Gelbaugh perhaps to hurry just a bit, but the pass thrown too hard.
Most fortunate for Penn State because they had a beautiful screen set up on the sidelines, and that would have been a big play for Maryland.
Second down, 10 yards to go. 9 out of 18 for Gelbaugh. No touchdowns. He's been picked off twice. Once by Zordich, once by Giftopoulos. Counter play to Neal. To make that Blunt. Pretty tough running, but he's only able to get about 3 yards out of the 38. Rogers Alexander popped him out of bounds.
Well, that was a classic way of stringing it out. It was Alexander, Graham, and Hamilton come up to finish him off. That was that counter play. See, they got Penn State overshifted to the wide side of the field, and now they come back with that counter. Now watch Graham string it out. Alexander takes on the lead blocker, and Hamilton finishes them off. Beautiful defense.
Donnie Graham also, and then you saw Bob White on a stunt coming inside and almost beat Blunt to the handoff. 3rd down and 7. Gelbaugh, sideline, caught for a first down. And we've got a flag on the play.
I think they get a holding on there. Definitely. You see at the top of your screen when we watch it. Now Penn State got a pretty good rush. And it looks like Bob White, that as he comes in to try to get to Gelbaugh, an offensive lineman held him.
Carl Bond, right guard, may have been the guilty party. Obviously, Penn State will accept the penalty. Remarkably, though, George, in the first game of the season like this, that's only the 3rd penalty the entire game. 2 on Maryland, 1 on Penn State.
I mean, I hope the fans appreciate what a great football game they're seeing at this early part of the season.
Holden,
I mean, it's a clean game. It's a vicious game. There's a lot of good strategy.
Well, I think there was a double penalty on the play, and Penn State will have their choice of 2. Why would they accept the first down?
I don't. Wait.
The penalty was on Maryland. Why would Penn State decline the penalty? Because Maryland got a first down on the play. Penn State has to decline the penalty.
I would say they have to. I can't understand. But
well, certainly.
I mean, that would be too outrageous a mistake to make. I don't know what the officials are doing here. We'll see.
There we go. Yeah, I think that we would be legitimately able to second guess that sort of decision.
Even I wouldn't do anything like that. I wasn't.
Pass was complete. Pass the penalties from the previous spot, 10 yards. 3rd down.
There we go. Now it is 3rd down and 18 yards to go.
That's slightly different.
Penn State with 2 sacks on the afternoon. They've not blitzed a great deal. Here comes a blitz. Ball tipped, and it is almost intercepted. Shane Conlon was over there, as was Trey Bauer, as Conlon got a hand on it and almost tipped it into the hands of Trey Bauer. And
Bauer was saying, I would have had it anyhow. What'd you get my way for? Yeah. But good defense, and that was a good surge for Penn State's defense because it looked like they were about ready to break.
Penn State will send back Jim Coates and Michael Timpson. Darrell Wright will be the punter on 4th down and 18. It's Coates on the near side, Timpson on the far side. Good punt. Coates at his 33, and he's lucky to be alive, let alone gain some yardage. So no gain on the punt return, and Penn State will start out at their own 33-yard line. 8:24 to play in the 3rd quarter. Penn State leading Maryland 20-18. We want to alert our network stations. This is a make-good break, so we'll be back right after this.
Okay, let's juice it up, you guys. Put more fruit on line 3. I see you've been into the local juice, chubby. A little heavy on that vitamin C, aren't you, Sonny? Keep those fudge freezer pops coming. You're a real cut-apart. Okay, everybody, take a daily break. How about that? There's a Dailies treat for everyone.
And now, Pennsylvania Lotto. Dump the balls and mix them clean. Draw the first number.
The real excitement of playing Pennsylvania Lotto is more than just choosing 6 numbers from 1 to 40. And it's more than just watching the jackpot grow. The really exciting part is watching the live Lotto drawing and knowing you could win.
Draw the 6th number, please.
The Pennsylvania Lottery's Pennsylvania Lotto game. With hundreds, thousands, even millions of dollars in prizes. It could happen to you.
We were training recruits for Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. Subject, John Doe, restaurant owner.
Notice his problem.
The usual story. No ad, no customers.
Notice his reaction.
We showed Doe his competitors' ads. He only had a listing.
Notice his surprise.
He tried the usual alibis. Then we booked him, resisting success. Got that? The Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, published by Bell of Pennsylvania. We wrote the book.
And that's what you call concentration. Coming across the middle, being able to take the hit and make the reception. Great catch by Roundtree.
We'll hope that it's only the wind knocked out of him, because as you saw, Covington's helmet hit him right in the ribs. Roundtree, just tremendous speed, varying opinions on how fast he actually is. One of those guys who can turn off the light switch and get in the bed before the lights go off. He can fly. The old cool Papa Bell routine.
Well, you're exactly right, because what he did, he drove the defender deep and just made that little move to the middle in front of him, and the ball was there. But he sure adjusted the ball. I haven't remember seeing a receiver that young as a sophomore that has adjusted the ball any better than he does.
That was Roundtree's 3rd reception for a total of 47 yards, nearly 16 per reception. John Schaefer now 11 out of 20, 160 yards. They're looking at his side. Roundtree, a sophomore from Aiken, South Carolina. I want to alert you, and of course we'll be talking to you again live this coming Saturday. When we refer to a Penn State player's class, we are talking about his class academically, not athletically. So Roundtree actually is a freshman in terms of football eligibility, but a sophomore academically.
Well, fortunately for Penn State fans, I think probably next year they have almost this whole squad returning. Some of the seniors that you see listed as seniors are red shirt people and have another year of eligibility.
Well, a heck of a grab by Raymond Roundtree. And as we alluded to just a moment ago, next Saturday at 12 noon, live from Beaver Stadium and University Park, Penn State and Temple. George and I will be on hand for the play-by-play, and we hope you enjoy the ball game. Eastern College football on the TCS Sports Television Network. 1st and 10, the Nittany Lions at the Maryland 46-yard line. Second string offensive line in there for Penn State. Manoa, the fullback. Dozier, the tailback. This is Manoa. Manoa driving forward inside the 45 and down to the 42-yard line. Give him 4. Make it 2nd down and 6. Kevin Walker made the tackle.
Stan, I'd like to see them give Manoa more work. If there's a back that Penn State has that would be similar to Bodonic, it's Manoa. He's not going to make big, long runs for you, but he'll pound you to death. He's a 4- and 5-yard runner. In a day like today, he could be very effective.
I want to mention number 92, the highly touted freshman Quintus McDonald is in the game at tight end. That's where he's playing this year. Tight end, number 92. Manoa again. And not much doing there. Pretty good defensive job for Maryland by Neil Sampson. He fought off the block. Manoa gets near the 39-yard line to bring up a 3rd down and a long 3, and the Penn State will need another 1st down plus some to get into field goal range again. Penn State's 2nd team offensive line. You've got Steve Wisniewski, Keith Radisick. We mentioned McDonald, Dan Morgan. 3rd down, long 3.
Here comes the blitz.
Schaefer Couldn't connect on the screen to Dozier, and maybe a wide decision because Maryland had screen smelled all the way.
Well, that's excellent defense. They blitzed the inside linebacker, Forsett, Petitbon, dropped the outside man there, Walker, one-on-one on Dozier, anticipating screen, and they played it perfectly. Excellent defense by them.
Well, George, was that a checkoff, or was that the planned call?
I think it was the planned call. I can't tell you 100% whether it was an audible or not, but Maryland was coming on the blitz, and that was an outlet pass that if the outside linebacker didn't drop, it could have gone for big yards.
Bruno looking to dump out of bounds. He was great at that last year. Ball hits at the 1, but will go into the end zone for the touchback. Very, very close, but the touchback will bring the ball back to the 20-yard line as Bruno angled out of bounds. A 39-yard punt. He's averaging 40 on the day. 6:36 to play in the third quarter. Penn State clean with that 2-point 2018 lead. That could have been a very important series there for Penn State. Had they been able to move for another first down, perhaps another field goal, that would certainly leave it wide open for Maryland to come back to take the lead with a touchdown. Maryland with a 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. A backup defensive secondary of Johnson, Marcus Henderson, Drew Bykowski, and Dwayne Downing. Counterplay, Blunt. Beat him to the corner again, and he dives for 7, nearly 8 yards. Eddie Johnson and Polamalu made the tackle, but again, if you allow Blunt to get to the corner, he's going to beat you there.
A little counter fake to Badanek, but watch the block that they put on Giftopoulos right there, number 9. They knock him down, enabling Blount to make a nice gain.
He's got an official timeout of the play as the officials huddle near the Maryland bench. The official was hit on the play, and he is down. He may be suffering. You know, it's hot for them, too, although they're not in full equipment. Apparently, he's all right. Gain of 7 for Alvin Blunt to bring up 2nd down and 3 for the Terrapins. He's all right.
And again, Maryland continues to play mostly all their first-string offensive line.
They have. 2nd-team defensive line in there for Penn State. And 2nd-team linebacker. Badanek got a hole. He's got a first down right at the 30-yard line. Pete Kirkendall made the tackle, number 73, and Chris Collins also in there to help out. But the Terrapins pick up a first down. And they have piled plenty of those up. 18 first down. First down, Maryland. You see the rushing yardage. Penn State not been able to run. They passed the ball fairly well. But Maryland has shown a pretty balanced attack, and that is a Bobby Ross style. Fumble on the snap. I believe Gelbaugh's got it. Got control of it. Mishandled. Those are the kind of things when the ball's that wet, it's going to happen.
And the ball has to be practically soaking wet.
Also, Maryland now has gone with a 2nd-team center, John Rugg, number 57. He's a freshman from Mill Run, Pennsylvania.
I'd be interested to see if Penn State puts a blitz on him here. They're in a good defensive position. They got 2nd down and 11, and they can put some pressure on Maryland.
High backfield. Gelbaugh on the roll. Here comes the blitz. The pass batted away at the last second. What a terrific defensive play by Barry Bookman, number 26. He is the backup hero to Michael Zordich, a sophomore at 6'1", 206 pounds. That's a big league defensive play.
Absolutely. And what he did, he closed to the front of the ball. In other words, instead of taking him from behind, he got in front, got his hand, and great defensive play.
So now Maryland will face a 3rd down and 11. They are 6 out of 11.
They are excellent on 3rd down. And I noticed they're coming out of a huddle a little slow.
I'm talking a little slow. Blitz. Gelbaugh to the sideline. No. Underthrown. I thought I saw a flag, but that's just a marker over there. I don't believe that he threw a flag. Maybe he did. I don't know why he would have. We have a discussion between the officials. Downing on the coverage.
The ball hit the ground.
Illegal use of hands. That'll be an automatic first down. That's tough on a 3rd down and 11. If that's the case.
Oh, it is, because I can see Joe Paterno over there. He's really upset.
Should be illegal use of hands. It will not be an automatic first down. It was not holding. It was illegal use of hands.
Illegal use of the hands. Defense. Third down.
All right, that's why. It was illegal use of hands and not defensive holding. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 6. That still could be a big play.
A little criticism of officials. They're not as decisive as they should be. It could be the weather.
All right, so we'll put this 6 out of 11 third down conversions on hold. Pitch wide to Blunt. Looking for the corner. He dives for it, and he may have gotten it across the 40-yard line. It all depends on the spot.
They're giving him a spot behind it.
All right. At the 39, that'll bring a 4th down in about 1.5 yards. Nope, they're going to mark him out of bounds at the 37. So it'll be 4th down and 3 yards for the first down. Barry Bookman pushed him out of bounds. He was out of bounds on Bookman's hit before he was able to dive.
Without my imagination running away with me, and Maryland's offensive line, the whole team is moving a half a step slower. They have to be with this heat.
All right to kick. Timpson near side, Coates far side. Good kick. Timpson at the 14. Spinning across the 20 and out near the 23-yard line. Well, a good return of about 9 yards by Michael Timpson. Hanging onto the football was the main thing. Chuck Fawcett in on the tackle. Also, Danny Swingle, 4.5 to play, 3rd quarter.
You know, Stan, at any time with any player, whether he be a senior or junior, when you get in a situation like that, he's going to catch a punt. You're a nervous wreck. Imagine when you got freshmen back there.
Yeah. Maryland has had the ball for 3 possessions in the second half. In 2 of the 3, George, the second team combinations thereof have been the defense. So the Penn State starters on defense should be fairly fresh in the 4th quarter. This is DJ Dozier. Slight hole up the middle. Dozier driving out near the 28-yard line. Rich Pettibone made the tackle. He is, again, the son of the Redskin assistant coach, Richie Pettibone. Remember him playing safety for the Bears. Let's give him 4, make it 2nd down and 6. And again, Penn State going with the second team offensive line.
All right, well, they're not actually keying Dozier. They flow with him. You notice how they flow with him and everybody closes on. I wouldn't be surprised that option pass could be open again if they tried.
Good block by Quintus McDonald on Ted Chapman. Again, McDonald, number 92. Fake to Dozier. Schaefer in trouble. And he made the move out to the 27-yard line to get back to the line of scrimmage. A flag is down, and Maryland's going to be guilty of a face mask. Penn State will take the penalty.
This is what I was saying, that the officials' calls have not been that decisive or quick. That was an obvious face mask. As you see, when Schaefer tried to turn in, they grabbed the mask, almost yanked his head off. And again, a discussion. Watch it here, and watch he turns it in, which I'd rather not see him do. He doesn't seem like he has good bounce. See the defender reach out and pull him down by the face mask.
It was Ted Chapman. Ball moved out.
Western face mask by the defense. 5-yard penalty.
Ball's moved out to the 32, so that makes it a 2nd down and 3 yards to go. Keith Radisick out of Pittsburgh over the ball. Rich Cousy. Steve Wisniewski are the guards on either side. Schaefer. Room to run. 35, hit hard at the 37-yard line, but the scramble of 5 yards by John Schaefer is good enough for a Penn State first down. Their 10th first down of the game. Kevin Walker and Steve Kelly made the tackle for Maryland.
What playing time comes, boys? Now watch Schaefer here. Can't find a receiver. Almost gets dumped and takes off with the ball. Knew how far he had to go for the first down. That's what was important and made that first down.
First down, 10 yards to go. John Schaefer comes out of the game, and Matt Kisner is in at quarterback. That is Matt Kisner at quarterback. Tim Manoa driving hard and out to the 44-yard line. Tim Manoa, really a hard runner, picks up 7. Walker made the tackle. Manoa, the junior out of Pittsburgh, 6'1", 227 pounds. And there's Matt Kisner. He is a junior, sophomore, eligibility-wise, from Youngwood, PA. Now, I've asked this question every year. What other great quarterback is from Youngwood, PA?
Well, I'll wait till after the game.
Yeah, I ask you every year. You forget it. George Blanda.
George Blanda. I'm not that old. I'd like to see a backfield a little bit with Manoa and Dozier.
That's Blair Thomas in there with Manoa. Eric Hamilton in motion. 2nd and 3. Kisner. He'll run.
Put it away.
And he's into Maryland territory, the 48-yard line. Matt Kisner likes to run. Bruce Messner made the tackle. I got the feeling that Kisner was going to run that one all the way.
You know, Stan, sometimes you'll luck into something. Now, Schaefer took a good blow, and they took him out to give him a little bit of a rest. But this is an ideal time to have a running quarterback, because Maryland is dropping off a lot on the outside on the corner, and a quarterback who can tuck it away and run with it pretty well can make a lot of yards.
Schaefer looks all right. He's taking a break. 1st and 10, Penn State. Maryland 48. Blair Thomas on the counter. He drops it and falls on it. It's still loose. And Maryland is recovered. Rich Pettibone recovers the fumble as Blair Thomas fumbled again on the handoff. Well, you run a freshman from scrimmage, kind of surprising when you've got other tailbacks. And now Maryland is set up.
I don't know, but he put it, clean handoff. He just dropped it.
And he had it when he first grabbed for it, then it slipped away from him.
Got to close on a ball, pressure on Penn State's defense again.
Penn State's 4th turnover of the game. Well, you've got the freshman returning kicks, but playing from scrimmage, 1st and 10 near the Penn State 42. Badonic back in the game. He fumbles, but he recovers his own fumble. He grabbed it in there with one arm. A 3-yard gain by Badonic to the Penn State 39-yard line.
Right now, both teams are having trouble controlling the ball. Gelbaugh fumbled from the center before also. Right now, Maryland's getting the better of the fumbles and recovering their own.
Well, Maryland has not turned the ball over since the first quarter when Giftopoulos intercepted Gelbaugh. Gelbaugh's 2nd interception. 2nd down and 7. Penn State with a first-team defensive unit in there. Here's Scriber, breaks a tackle, gets to the 36-yard line. Rogers Alexander made the tackle to bring up 3rd down and a long 3. Schaefer talking to the coaches upstairs. Penn State was on a very, very nice drive under the co-leadership of Schaefer and Kisner, but the fumble by Blair Thomas is 2nd of the game.
Penn State better be ready for that end around again.
Under 30 seconds to play, 3rd quarter. 3rd down and a long 3 yards to go. Blunt. He's got the 1st down, still on his feet, deep into Penn State territory at the 27-yard line. Maryland with a 1st down by plenty. Ray Isom made the tackle, but Maryland is on the march. We've got a Penn State player down on the field.
This is
Tim Johnson is down on the field.
This is what we call a sprint out drawer. He fakes running, sprinting, rolling out, hands it off to his tailback, big wide hole. Bobby White, number 34, had a piece of him and let him go. He's a more deceptive runner than you think.
Well, Penn State, momentum after taking the lead 20-18 in a good defensive series, seemed to be swinging back to their side, but on 2 occasions, not to single him out, he's only a freshman, but Blair Thomas's 2 fumbles, from a psychological standpoint, have had a major effect on this game. Tim Johnson is the man down, the junior from Sarasota, Florida, starting defensive end. As you see Gelbaugh talking it over with the Maryland coaches. Johnson's still down. Really, George, up until that last drive for Penn State, the continuity of their drives had been lacking, and that seemed like they were finally putting it together.
I agree with you. I thought the momentum, as we say, old momentum, was starting to shift. They looked a little sharper as far as the condition-wise than Maryland. Maryland seems to be getting tired. They still look a little tired now, but something like this pumps some more adrenaline in you. And as you say, you had a freshman in there. You don't know. It looked like it was a pure, clean exchange, and not the quarterback's fault. But again, the ball is wet. You might not just have closed in on it. Not thinking about, it's my first run, I'm going to make a big run at it.
Clock running down in the 3rd quarter. And that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. Hot and humid. 94 degrees, 74% humidity. 15 minutes of football to play. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, Penn State 20, Maryland 18. And we'll be back right after this.
every meal a natural success. Begin with Rocca's Gourmet Pasta, made fresh daily and frozen immediately. All of their products are made with Durum semolina wheat flour and whole eggs. Rocca's tortellini with cheese or meat filling is deliciously different. Homemade pasta has never been so easy. Add the goodness and quality of Odenwald fruits and Nolico vegetables. Odenwald is an orchard of fine fruits, hand-picked and perfectly preserved in their naturally light juices. Nolico vegetables are harvested at the peak of flavor and quick-packed to capture that farm freshness. Then include the tempting taste of Lamagna ricotta cheese. For over 50 years, Lamagna cheese has been bringing out the best in pastas. Made with pure milk and hot-packed for freshness, Lamagna ricotta cheese refreshes salads and enhances desserts. It's the ricotta for all reasons. Look for these 100% natural foods in your favorite grocery store.
Toftree Resort is golf on a perfectly manicured course. Toftree is long, languid days by the pool, or a great game of tennis. Shop at the country store. Unwind at the country tavern, or dine elegantly at Le Papillon. Toftree is paradise. Toftree Resort in central Pennsylvania. Toftree is waiting.
Banking at the right place can make a difference. This is the Atlantic difference. Atlantic's new Advantage card. Better broker discounts, higher paying CDs, lower credit costs, and no fee services. Atlantic Financial. We can make a difference.
Time to buckle the chin straps. We are set to begin the fourth quarter in a very tight football game as we begin. Maryland with a first down and 10 near the Penn State 26-yard line. Abdur Rauf in motion. Badonic, the quick pitch. Not doing this time. About a yard to the 25, Ray Isom. The safety came up to make the tackle on Badonic. It'll be second down and 9.
Very interesting, Stan. Maryland's going to a 2 tight end offense with just a 1 wide receiver, and they're bringing them in motion and running to that side. It's as if they think they can powder the ball down Penn State's throat.
Interesting that Penn State more than doubling their running yardage with their passing yardage. Maryland with a slight advantage in total yardage, and Maryland has run the ball exceptionally well, not passed it as well as expected. Blunt hit in the backfield by Bob White for no gain. Boy, White just knifed in from defensive end and knocked him down. He falls forward for a yard, but it'll be third down and 8, and another big third down play for Maryland. Joe Paterno today beginning his 20th year as the head coach of the Nittany Lions. One of the things that Maryland's concerned about, the last 2 out of 3 years, they have lost their first 2 games. Maryland's still with a whopping edge in time of possession. But Penn State has the lead. Third down and 8. Play fake. Gelbaugh in the flat, and it is complete to Badonic at the 18-yard line. He'll be a yard short of the first down. Isom made the tackle. Fourth down and 1. I would have to think they'd go for the field goal here to take the lead.
Well, there's a little counter play here. All right, right here, there's a little yelling by the Penn State fans from a side block. But he gets the ball off to...
We've got a Penn State player down. Ray Isom. That looks like a cramp. Fourth down and 1.
Well, you talk about not going for the field goal. You're really, playing Russian roulette when you get an opportunity to go ahead in a terribly hot day like today, and your defense is playing pretty well. I would venture to say he's going to go for the field goal. However, with Badonic, he's such a great short yardage runner. Yep. And he's got about 37 touchdowns in his career history, and I think at least over 20 of them are inside the 20-yard line. Now, he got the ball off. It's a good play by Gelbaugh. Hits Badonic, and I'll tell you, that's a pretty good tackle because you take him one-on-one in open field, and he's tough.
Maryland has utilized the receivers. The running backs as receivers. Badonic picks up that pass. And that is his 4th reception. So it is 4th down and 1, and the offensive unit remains on the field. So Maryland is going to go for it.
Now you know a coach got confidence in his offense. 2 tight ends.
4th down and 1.
Penn State better get that corner man up.
Badonic, he's got it. He's at the 16-yard line. Looked for a minute like he might not, but the spot of the ball is at the 16, and that'll be good for Maryland 1st down.
This close.
Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the TCS Sports Television Network.
This is WTAF TV 29 in Philadelphia.
Here's the replay.
He went down sideways, Stan. It's a little closer than you think.
Yep. Well, where they spotted the ball, I don't think there's any question about it.
He got it.
Got it by better than a half a yard.
They came with a corner blitz, but it wasn't tight enough. He was able to get up in that little crack between the corner blitz before the defensive end could get over there, and he made the yard.
Well, the fumble by Blair Thomas looms larger as Maryland continues down the field. They have it 1st and 10 at the Penn State 16. 13 minutes, 5 seconds to play in the game. Penn State, in case you're joining us late, leading 20-18. Badonic trying to get outside. He could not. He tried to cut off the block. He will lose a half a yard. Bob White made the initial hit. Don Graham cleaned him up. It'll be 2nd down, a bit more than 10 yards to go for the 1st down.
I think his leg is hurting him a little bit. In fact, he's asking to get out. At that particular time, there was a little bit of hole to the outside. Penn State overshifted their tackle to the inside, dropped the linebacker off. He didn't see it. He cut back right into the pot.
Maryland can be fairly well assured that they are in pretty good shape for a field goal, at the very least. Scriber comes in to replace Badonic. Blunt finds a hole, picks up about 4 to the 12-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 6. Trey Bauer made the tackle for Penn State. You know, Blunt's a pretty good runner. We talk about Badonic.
Right, and so is Scriber. Okay, now they forced the play to the inside, and now it's in to finish them off. Now, Penn State has got to come with about everything and take a chance at single coverage. They stay with the 2 tight ends.
3rd down and 6. Maryland 7 out of 14 on 3rd down conversion. Pretty well assured Maryland would think pass on a 3rd and 6.
I think they'll try to come back to the short side. Oh,
motion. Make it 3rd and 11. Now that changes things around.
Sometimes that backfires on you. They might have tried to run that, now go to the pass, and before you know, get to 6. You never really know, but it's a break for Penn State.
3rd down and 11. So you probably wouldn't have, as a defensive coordinator, many guesses as to what Maryland will now be forced to do.
Illegal procedure, offense, 3rd down.
That was 85 Knight. They got him out here. Now they're coming back with Holder, and you'll see the 2 wideouts again.
All right, Gelbaugh, 10 out of 21. He's been picked off twice. Pause that refreshes. 3rd down and 11. Gelbaugh almost intercepted. Very dangerous pass. Michael Zordich came diving across. He underthrew it, really didn't have a chance to complete it.
Well, Conlon and White put an awful lot of heat on him. They're playing a great game. Again, this substitution might help Penn State in the latter part of this game. You see Conlon coming in from the right side of your screen. He had to throw it away. Almost an interception by Zordich, which would be tremendously important if he had got it.
Well, the field goal attempt will come from Ramon Paradas. It'll be a 35-yard attempt. Dan Henning, the son of Atlanta Falcon head coach Dan Henning, is the holder. An angle to the left. Paradas, kick is up. And the kick is no good. He missed it. Wide to the left. Paradas missed the 35-yard field goal wide to the left.
Bobby Ross just got a couple of white hairs on that one. That should have been a...
Just got a couple of cramps. 11-12 to play in the game. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 20 and Maryland 18. We'll be back right after this.
Everyone working to keep the customer satisfied.
This Bud's for you. Nobody else can do the job the way you do. So here's to you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
The Atlantic difference. Some people have already discovered the Atlantic difference. They make more money at Atlantic. Make more money at Atlantic. Some people keep more of what they make with broker discounts, lower credit costs, and tax shelters at Atlantic. Keep more of what you make at Atlantic. Atlantic Financial. We can make a difference. Here's another way.
We can make a difference.
Well, who knows? Penn State hanging on to that lead at 20-18, and who knows, George? If Maryland had not gone for it on 4th and 1 and tried the field goal there, who knows, maybe he makes it.
It's that much closer, but you know, here's what we coined the phrase, dodging the bullet. And they dodged it. The turnover, putting Maryland in good field position, did not help them one bit. Now it's up to Penn State's offense to put together a drive.
Well, the crowd, the Penn Staters who are here, across the way there you see them, they started cheering, and that excited the Maryland fans. I would expect with 11-12 to play in this game, we'll see primarily first-team ball players for Penn State from here on in. Steve Smith, DJ Dozier. The running backs, John Schaefer back in the quarterback. Dozier cuts upfield, needs one block, gets outside, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Oh, he was very close to breaking that one all the way. Nonetheless, it's a 15-yard gain for DJ Dozier. Ted Chapman and Sean Scott make the tackle. Dozier's biggest run of the ball game. Now getting him 29 yards on 5 carries, making 6 carries.
Great block by Smith on the corner. Shankweiler, good cut. And this is why he's such a great back, but he's so reckless, he scares you. Right here, he's looking to cut back against the grain. He has to know he must protect that football.
First and 10 at the 35, and Schaefer will throw. Over the middle, and it is caught by Smith, the fullback, and a nice gain of nearly 7 yards, out close to the 42-yard line. Schaefer showed a lot of poise there, George. He looked, and he waited for Smith to clear.
He dumped it off. There was an outlet man. It was Smith, the fullback. Made a good gain out of a possible loss. He still looks like he's having a little trouble setting up, though.
Second down, 4, clock running, 10:20 to play in the game. Harold Giles went wide left. Dozier hit hard at the 43-yard line. Good tackle by Neil Sampson, 262-pound defensive tackle. It'll bring up a 3rd down and a long yard for Penn State, and they are only 1 out of 8 on 3rd down conversions. This one is critical.
They should give the ball to Manoa here. I think he's the biggest and strongest back. All the time, alls now.
Dozier looks a bit shaken up and a bit woozy. Smith on the wing, he uses a blocker. Dozier drives for the 1st down. Dozier lowered his head out to the 46. Fawcett made the tackle, and that's the sign of some maturity. You know, guys who have breakaway ability, George, sometimes they're always looking to break away. That time Dozier knew, look, we need a yard, that's all I want to get.
And he wants out. He wants out. He just signaled to the sideline. But this is, you say, it's comes with maturity. He knew they had to make the 1st down, and he took on that Fawcett, a big linebacker, one-on-one.
Well, Dozier goes out of the game, and David Clark replaces him. Smith, the up back in the eye. Schaefer over the middle. The receiver fell down. The receiver, Mike Alexander, was open, but he slipped and fell, as I'm sure you saw. And the pass went incomplete. Even Covington on the coverage.
And Penn State got a break because the defender had his hands down, closing on the ball, not realizing the receiver was going to go down, and it actually went right past what? Past the defender, number 1 Covington.
So John Schaefer, 12 out of 23, 166 yards. He has the 1 touchdown pass to the tight end Williams. 2nd down and 10. almost fumbled, but hung on. Gets 2 yards. Almost a missed handoff. Robert Klein, not the comedian, the defensive tackle, made the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 8. We've got a flag on the play. Holding against Penn State. Well, what do you want, 2nd and 20 or 3rd down and 18? I would think, well, 3rd down and 8. Probably 2nd and 20 as Penn State goes back.
Well, they want to keep back as far as they can from the possibility of another field goal, because as long as it's only 2, Maryland can always come back and win this ball game with the field goal.
Well, this certainly would have been a most important drive for Penn State to maneuver into field goal position, which would have forced Maryland to go for the touchdown to win the game.
Holding by the offense, 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
This is when you have to have a couple of good plays, good reliable, high percentage plays that you can get a good piece of it back. Maybe not the whole 20, but at least 10 of it.
Well, maybe the tight end is a guy to look for. 2nd down and 20. Schaefer going to try to run. He'll lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. Robert Klein on the sack. He had help from an outside linebacker as well. But Klein gets the sack, and now it is 3rd down and 23.
Good rush. Can't find anybody. Puts the ball away. At least he protects the ball and puts Penn State into another long yardage situation. You always got that extra down. You always got the possibility of making it.
Now let's give a credit to Ted Chapman. He was the one who made the initial hit and should be credited with a sack. 3rd and 23. See if Penn State plays it safe. Schaefer stumbles a bit again. Over the middle. It is incomplete. Almost intercepted. Off the hands of the receiver Timpson and almost intercepted by Rich Pettibone. Well, Penn State, which had driven partially the way out of trouble, now has to punt.
He kind of threw that ball a little bit behind Timpson. I think if he hit him on the dead run, I don't think he would have made the 1st down, but he would have made a good piece of yardage.
Very important punt coming up by John Bruno. Key to Covington back deep at his own 25. The rush is on. Bruno gets away, a beauty. What a kick. Covington at the 13. Hit hard, and a flag is down at the 28-yard line. A flag is down. Kurt Bernier made the tackle for Penn State.
Would almost
53-yard punt.
Would almost have to be a
You would think so. They threw it right in the middle of the stack, and it is against Maryland. That'll drive him back. 7:48 to play in the game.
As it turned out, that series wasn't that bad. They got a great punt, and they got the penalty added on to it. Now it's up to Penn State's defense again. The substitution decision by Joe Paterno might, in the end, pay off because he's had fresh people in there.
Well, Maryland will start deep in their own territory at the 14-yard line.
By the receiving team on a run back. 1st down.
So Maryland will take over 1st and 10 when we come back. 7:48 to play in the game. We've got a timeout. The score, Penn State 20, Maryland 18. We'll be back right after this.
Come on, baby, let's got tower roll. So many shoots, it'll thrill your soul. Come on, baby, let that paper roll on and on.
When the other leading brand gives up, Scott Towels keeps right on rolling because it has lots more sheets so you don't run out.
Roll on and on.
Scott Towels, Scott Tissue, Scotty, Scott Economy Pack napkins. The Scott Value products go a long way and save you money.
Roll on and on.
Want a lifesaver, honey?
Yeah, I'll have the red one.
There's only one red one left. Take the green one.
Oh, but I really love red cherry lifesavers. I had my heart set on the red one. And I asked for it first.
Look at you, a mature adult acting childish over a little piece of candy.
You bet your lifesavers. You can have the green one.
I like the green one better anyway.
Why? Is it better than the red?
Lifesavers rolled candy. And even the red one has less than 10 calories.
Maryland 1st and 10. The blitz is on. The pass incomplete, intended for Blunt. Out in the flat. Gelbaugh read the blitz and went to the safety valve man, the checkoff man, Alvin Blunt. Incomplete. That'll be 2nd and 10, and a big series of downs not only because of the 2-point margin in the score, but also because of field position. If Penn State can hold Maryland to without a first down, it would change the entire field position around.
Plus, it gives Penn State a decided defensive edge and strategy now, because that was an excellent call, and the play was there. He just threw the ball away.
Penn State going entirely with a second-team defensive unit. Linemen, linebackers, and secondary people. 2nd and 10. Ball stumbles. Looking deep. Intercepted by Dwayne Downing. And they're going to call it an interception and a fumble.
Yes.
Yes, it's Penn State football. Dwayne Downing with the interception, the fumble, and Bykowski recovers. Now he changes his mind. The official right on top of the play signaled it a fumble. He was overruled. You saw it, folks. No further comment is necessary. The official right on the play ruled.
Actually, he was stripped, Stan. It's a good throw. What you'll see right here is one of Gelbaugh's better throws. You see the interception, and this is steps inside, and he's stripped.
Well, I don't know. He was juggling. But regardless of the call, the fact is the guy made the call and then was overruled.
Let's give the official the benefit of the doubt.
3rd down and 10. I think eventually that was the proper call. I don't think Downing ever had full possession. Draw play. Blunt. He will not get there. He fumbles. But they're going to rule that he was down. So Blunt fumbles after his knee touch. Pete Giftopoulos with a hard hit, backed up by Barry Bookman, and the Penn State defense is held, and the Penn State fans are on their feet. So the second-team unit does a terrific job.
And it also gives them the option now coming back in the next series with the first-team defense.
7:09 to play, and Penn State should have great field position. Coates and Timpson back deep. Timpson on the near side. Short punt. Coates takes on the run at his own 42. Fumble, he picks it up. It's loose. Penn State has recovered the fumble.
Yeah, but Stan, that's reckless football. He's a great kid and a great punt returner. But again, I keep emphasizing this fact. You have to remember. Watch it now. He makes a nice move here. Cuts up inside. This juncture of the game, you must emphasize. You see the ball slip out, it's perspiration. That's like a greased watermelon out there. And they have to concentrate and hold on the ball.
The barrels of Pauline continue at Byrd Stadium in College Park, Maryland. 6:51 to play in the game. There's a timeout. Penn State 20 and Maryland 18. We'll be back right after this.
I know. How does some seafood sound?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Long John Silver's got battered fried shrimp, breaded shrimp, scallops, clams, even oysters.
Sounds like a taste in a place I want to be. Sounds good. Sounds great. Come on, grab me a plate. Long John Silver. Sounds good to me.
Banking at the right place can make a difference. This is the Atlantic difference. Atlantic's new Advantage card. Better broker discounts, higher paying CDs, lower credit costs, and no fee services. Atlantic Financial. We can make a difference.
Kisner in there, Stan.
Right, Matt Kisner. Kevin Woods is the tailback. First time he's played today from scrimmage. Kisner throwing over the middle. Roundtree makes the reception inside the Maryland 40 at the 37-yard line. So Ray Roundtree, heard earlier, comes back. His 4th reception to the ball game.
Another great catch, though, Stan. This young... Watch this. This is just a quick drop back, a slant in, but Roundtree has great concentration on the football. He just ignores everybody and everything around him to make the reception.
Well, you got second-team running backs, second-team quarterback, second-team offensive line. They pick up a first down right away. Kisner. He's hit and dropped by Chuck Fawcett. They had a blitz, and Kisner rolled right into the blitz. Not his fault, but a good defensive play call by Maryland.
They just had the right defense called, and Penn State the wrong offensive play. It's supposed to be a sprint-out type of action, trying to hit an out pattern, and Fawcett was coming up in that seam. Nothing you could do about it.
Terry Burke forced Kisner right to Chuck Fawcett. Fawcett, junior from Willingboro, New Jersey, 6'3", 235, an All-American candidate. The loss is back to the 43-yard line. It is second down and 16. Draw play to Manoa. Not much doing there. Chuck Fawcett again making the tackle, and that'll bring up third down and long yardage, 5.5 to play in the game.
Without second guessing, I have to wonder if DJ Dozier is 100% correct. You would think that at this position in the game, he'd be in the ball game, hoping to break. But maybe he is fatigued, or maybe he had his ankle is bothered.
Penn State could possibly, with about a 12-yard completion here, that wouldn't be enough for the first down, but it might be enough for Massimo Manca.
Might see them go to the tight end here.
Kisner. He's hit. He's sacked in his own territory. And he fumbled. And Maryland has recovered the fumble. So the field position changes automatically. Penn State will not even get the opportunity to punt the ball away. And Maryland a first down away from a possible field goal attempt.
All right, Chapman here. Watch him. He comes up here, puts the hit on Kisner. He tries to duck underneath. I've said it several times during the show. With moist weather like this, you have to have control of the ball and emphasize having two hands on it.
Dwayne Dunham with the sack and Chapman the recovery. We've got a timeout. Penn State 20, Maryland 18. We'll be back right after this.
My three favorite things are my blanket, my bear, and my banner. What's Banner?
Me, I'm Banner, the soft touch. Go ahead, touch.
Boy, you are soft and fluffy.
I'm soft on Mom's pocketbook, too.
Here, you play with the bear, and I'll play with the banner. No, I want the banner. I'll give you the blanket and the bear. I want the banner.
Banner toilet tissue. It's the soft touch.
They like me.
No matter how things change or how we live today, the best things in life are done the original way. Enjoy something original.
And now you get 3 for free. Get 12 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken for the price of 9. That's 3 for free. But hurry.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Enjoy something original now.
Penn State, committing their 5th turnover of the game, has put Maryland in position to win at the Penn State 48-yard line. Edmonds in motion. Badonic driving hard and spinning down to the 42-yard line. Shane Conlon grabbed a hold of him, but Badonic is strong, and he drove forward. It's a nice 6-yard gain for Maryland.
Well, I think Bobby Ross's strategy here, keep it on the ground as much as he can, try to ground out some first downs, and if he doesn't get in for the touchdown, go for the game-ending field goal.
Second down and 4. Blunt beats one tackle, drives forward for nearly a first down. Penn State had him for a big loss in the backfield, but Blunt spinning is very near a Maryland first down.
That was a great run. He just spun out of the tackle. Again, he runs with unusual body lean. See how he's always leaning forward, slides, slashes, and spins out of it for the first down.
It's at the Penn State 37-yard line. You see the time remaining. You've got to figure Maryland would need another 7-8 yards to be in legitimate field goal range. A fumble by Matt Kisner turned the entire game and field position around. Blunt, sideline, gets 4 yards. Again, Penn State's going to have to stop that first down run because Gelbaugh is only 1 out of 7 passing in the second half, so Penn State wants to force them into a throwing situation.
Well, they have no alternative but to play man on man and single coverage these people and stop their running game. They have no alternative.
Gain is 3. It is 2nd down and 7. The clock runs. Maryland entering field goal position. You begin to think about the amount of time left for Penn State to perhaps come back. 2nd and 7. They need to throw someone for a loss. Blunt cuts inside, and he cannot beat Rogers Alexander. He stops him at the line of scrimmage for no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Shane Conlon also over there to help on the tackle.
Well, this could be the ball game right here. This one play. If Maryland doesn't make it, then the field goal attempt is going to be a long one.
Clock remains on the move. 2 minutes, 50 seconds to play in the game. A sack here would obviously knock Maryland out and perhaps force them to go for it on 4th and very long. This could be your ball game. 3rd down and 7.
I would think they would blitz. Nope, no blitz.
Gelbaugh deep down the sideline, overthrown for Raouf. Coverage on the play by Duffy Cobbs. Not able to get there. Now it is 4th down and 7. It would be a 51-yard field goal attempt for Maryland should they decide to go for it here.
Well, I think he has no choice, as they say. For Brooklyn, we would say choice. No, he hasn't any choice because, you know, the fact is he might not never get another opportunity to get that these points.
Well, what win there is at Paradas' back. Now, remember, he missed a 35-yarder. This would be a 52-yard field goal, angle to the right. 2:31 to play. It's long enough.
No good.
He missed it. Wide to the right. Well, he had the distance, but he missed it wide to the right. 2:27 to play in the game.
When we were coaching, I was coaching, we used to say some games you don't expect to win, you win, and some you lose that you don't expect to lose. And that's because somebody up there dictates the tempo of what's going to happen that day. And it seems to be that this is meant to be Penn State. They've dodged an awful lot of bullets, and they've turned the ball over 5 times. To turn the ball over 5 times to Maryland, and if they come out winning, is really spectacular.
There are bullets left, however. Penn State will need at least 1 first down. Maryland has all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and Penn State has not been able to run the ball consistently today. Smith and Dozier are the backfield. Schaefer the quarterback. Dozier cutting upfield, spinning, driving for extra yardage, and he gets it out to the 39-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And Penn State will have to get 1 first down before Maryland begins using their 3 remaining timeouts.
They have Schaefer back as quarterback, and I would hope the coaches would be telling Schaefer to tell the ball carriers on every play, protect the ball. 2 hands on the ball, 2 hands on the ball. Don't get too cute.
Single setback in the eye. Timpson in motion. Dozier again. Hit in the backfield and dropped for a yard loss. At the 38, Kevin Walker makes the tackle for Maryland. And time is called on the field.
Stan, they blitz on the inside with the linebackers, but Schaefer almost fumbled the snap. Had a tough time getting that clean.
All right, Maryland utilizes the first of their 3 timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining. It'll be 3rd down, 6 yards to go for the first down. And a first down for Penn State here would just about give them the victory, especially if they force Maryland to use their timeout. See the timeouts remaining.
Well, the other thing that Joe Paterno has to calculate now is field position. His punting game is pretty good. If he's going to go for the 3rd down, if he's going to try a pass for the 3rd down, it has to be a very reliable, high percentage play. He can't afford another turnover here because he's going to blow the ball game. If he doesn't make it, and he's got a 4th down punting situation, and they get a decent punt off, Maryland is going to really be fighting the clock even to get into field goal.
Unquestionably. Wondering if a screen might not be the call here. Maryland blitzed them the last play. If you want to put it up in the air.
Well, with some kind of a rollout. So they now possibly Kisner would be better here, but Schaefer might be out of it. They have some kind of a rollout flood pattern where if they drop off, he has the option to run. He has not that much yardage to get to make the first down.
Penn State only 2 out of 11 on third down conversion. Short drop over the middle, incomplete. Now DeMidio was hit, and a flag is thrown. DeMidio was hit by a linebacker, but the flag came very, very late.
Well, it almost would have to be against Maryland, and they hit him from behind.
Well, if it's against Penn State, it's really of no consequence because they'd have to punt anyway. Well, it's going to go against... they're going to rule that the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. The pass was, which, of course, negates any pass interference call.
Good call. I didn't see the tip. I thought he was trying to call DeMidio backing in. A receiver can make his turn and slide. Let's see.
75.
All right, it was a tip.
Neil Sampson. Well, Maryland has had a lot of success blocking punts in the last couple of years under Bobby Ross. They blocked one last year to beat Pitt. Here they come. Bruno gets it away in a hurry.
Super punt.
And it's a great punt. Covington back at his 11. Breaks the first wave, still on his feet, and finally knocked down at the 23-yard line with 1:24 to play in the game. Marcus Henderson, first man down. He made the initial hit.
Stan, this is a fantastic football game because now the onus shifts back to Bobby Ross. What do? Your quarterback is not throwing well at all. If you run the ball, you run a couple of plays, you're going to run the clock out. He almost has to have the perfect balance of the pass, some running plays, whether it be draw plays or screen.
1:24 to play. Maryland trailing 20-18. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Gelbaugh breaks a tackle, throws, almost intercepted, it is caught. At the 45-yard line, still on his feet. Duffy Cobb knocks him out of bounds. The ball was tipped by a Penn State defender. And Azizudin Abdur-Rauf caught the tip. Penn State had him back around the Maryland 45, but he stayed on his feet.
Well, what happened, the defenders closed. It was a great break here. Watch the tip. Abdur-Rauf made an adjustment. The ball stepped by a linebacker, and right there, you know, that's things even up like that. Here's a running play.
Batonic. Good yardage, stays in bounds. However, he's down to the 30-yard line. Again, you are already in field goal range. Bauer made the tackle. The real key is not that Alexander almost intercepted or perhaps could have. It's that Isom missed the tackle.
You see the tip. Lucky break. Good break. We don't like to use the word luck. Rauf was there, and he does some fine running. Isom took him from the outside, underestimated his strength, and he almost broke it all the way. Duffy Cobb makes the tackle.
At this time, TCS would like to thank the following individuals for their assistance in the production of today's telecast. For Penn State University, Athletic Director James Carman, Head Coach Joe Paterno, Sports Information Director Dave Baker, and for the University of Maryland, Athletic Director Dick Dull, Head Coach Bobby Ross, and Sports Information Director Jack Zane. Well, how quickly things can turn. Paradas has missed 2 field goals, a 52-yarder and a 35-yarder. You can bet that Maryland will not put the ball in the air. There's no reason to. That's Mike Russo, by the way, who is down.
Well, they might run one draw play, catching Penn State offside. They like to get closer. I mean, obviously, Paradas has to be a little shaken up, the fact that he's missed the last 2. There'll be an all-out rush on him.
Well, of all the lucky bounces, and each team has gotten their share.
Once again, almost sacked. There's the tip by Alexander. There's the adjustment on the ball by Abdur-Rauf. And there's some great running. Almost breaks it. Combinations of poor tackling. Cobb saves the touchdown.
Lance Hamilton made the hit on the play, and Ray Isom came up and knocked Hamilton off the play. Maryland still has 2 timeouts remaining. So if you count on something other than the possibility of the field goal being missed, you need a sack if Maryland throws, which I doubt, or some sort of a penalty. Russo still down. Now he's being helped up. He's played a very good football game, and he has got a leg problem. He's going to be helped off, and Russo dragging that leg. He's played an awfully good football game.
Well, I look for Penn State now to take some reckless gambles, to make something happen and make sure they...
I'll tell you what I think, George. I think Penn State should be using their timeouts here, because Maryland's going to run it down. Well, Gelbaugh's going to throw. He's a sack. Over the middle. It is incomplete. Holder had it, juggled it. Bauer was there with him. That stops the clock. That helps Penn State, considering their position.
I know Coach Ross doesn't want to do this too often. Penn State almost got a return break on that as it goes off Holder's hands, and almost an interception.
Hamilton was there. 44 seconds remain. It is third down. 4 yards to go.
I think he might try to draw a play here to get the first down, or a running play here to get the first down. Call a timeout.
Gelbaugh will throw. They need a sack. Pass complete for the first down. Fumble! It's loose, and Penn State has recovered the fumble. Penn State has recovered the fumble with 38 seconds to play.
Stan, I'm going to...
Unbelievable.
But what did I say at the top of the show about the hands being wet in a day like day? They're passing the ball back and forth to each other, and they can't help it. That was a great break for Penn State.
Joe Paterno needs a resuscitator. Tim Johnson, who had left the game earlier, recovered the fumble.
It's not over yet.
No.
The way they're passing the ball back and forth.
Well, that is Maryland's third turnover. They had not made one since early in the first quarter.
It's never over until it's over, said Yogi. Good pass, too. Good curl in. Had the first down. He drops the ball.
Well, Lance Hamilton stripped him. Let's give him some credit, although obviously Blunt's got to hang on to that.
I consider that luck, and a bad luck for Maryland, good luck for Penn State.
Oh, unquestionably. Well, Maryland still has its 2 timeouts. Schaefer drops. Well, you know, we sit up here, X's and O's, the coaches study film, we analyze, we check things out, and when it comes down to it, sometimes it's a horseshoe or a 4-leaf clover.
Good luck. Now you know why I got out of coaching.
You got the gray hairs anywhere. I wonder what you'd look like if you to continue.
I was getting all the aggravation without the money. You know, it's bad enough when you're getting the money, but without the money, it's really tough.
Well, barring anything really unforeseen, Penn State will stretch its winning streak against Maryland to 21 in a row, the series record to 28-1. But believe me, several of these games in the past 10 years have been so close. Last year's, of course, a 25-24 game. This game, which Maryland easily could have won.
You know, Joe Paterno has never lost to Maryland, and I kind of think that Lord Baltimore, when he first came here, must have mistreated the people from Brooklyn.
Either that,
we've been getting our revenge.
Tonight, in the Chesapeake Bay, they're going to close down every Italian restaurant in your honor. Now there is Len Lynch, senior offensive guard from Levittown, PA. Their offensive line, Maryland's offensive line, did a tremendous job running the ball exceptionally well. Maryland will have 1 timeout left. Schaefer will drop on the ball. Maryland will use that last timeout, and that should be it. Maryland uses the last timeout with 29 seconds to play. There is Rick Botonic again playing a great football game. He's a tough customer, and
he's great.
He's a solid runner. I would imagine that given an opportunity in professional football, he'd be a great special team.
He'd be another Jimmy Taylor. You know, without sounding trite, my heart goes out to Maryland. I have nothing but the utmost respect for their coach. He's a great credit, you know, to the coaching profession. They've done a fantastic job here. They played their heart out, and they got outlucked today. Penn State did a great job coming back from last year after those last 2 losses, but Maryland, your heart has to go out to them. The first chance they've had an opportunity to possibly go on and win a national championship, and to get upset in your first game, oh boy, I mean, I know what's going on in those kids' hearts and their stomachs. It must be terrible.
Well, Rick Botonic said in this morning's newspaper, in the Washington newspaper, he said, I don't know what'll happen to us if we lose this game. And it's not a matter of them saying to themselves, we played very well, which they certainly did. But when you lose so many close games like that to one particular team, it's very disheartening. But Donick said himself, we can no longer be satisfied with merely playing well and losing by 1 or 2 points. Sooner or later, you've got to turn the corner. There's a guy who turned this program around, Joe Paterno, now 17-0 against Maryland. And Penn State will drop on the football. Got a flag down. Look. Procedure against Penn State, although...
No, that's against Maryland.
Oh, it's against Maryland? Makes no difference. Again, all that has to be done here is for Schaefer to drop on the ball. Maryland out of timeouts. And that'll be it. A reminder that we'll be with you again next Saturday from Beaver Stadium in University Park, PA. Penn State's home opener against the Owls of Bruce Arians and Temple University. Good option team. You'll see a different style offense next week. Schaefer drops to his knees. And that'll be it. And we got another flag down.
What Maryland is doing is...
Well, the clock will start again.
Now, if they're deliberately encroaching or causing the flag to be dropped, they're going to see they turn down the penalty. Decline it again.
Well, it makes no difference because as soon as the ball is marked for play, the clock will start again, and the final 20 seconds will be called off. 25 seconds in which to get the ball into play. Of course, Penn State can utilize all that on the time clock. The penalty is declined, and now the clock will restart. Well, it was a thrilling football game, regardless of which side you were rooting for. It was just a tremendous college football game. More twists and turns than any Pennsylvania winding mountain road. And it really was not decided until the final 40 seconds of the game. Well, a little bit of discipline on the sideline already, early in the season.
He was trying to run on the field. He caught one of the young freshmen, and he didn't want him to be exhilarated a little too soon.
Well, now it is time for celebration. That is the end of today's football game. The final score, Penn State beating Maryland for the 21st consecutive time. The final, Penn State 20, Maryland 18. We'll be back right after this.